Hello, and thank you for joining us here at the League of Rakantor Explorers for our Tuesday night storytelling live stream. Allow me to assure you, dear viewer, that tonight we have just a treat and a half. I do not know if you are familiar with the Zone RPG, but I hope to acquaint you with it this evening if you are not, and find you in your own gaming circle pursuing it as an activity. It requires absolutely no prep to play, just a PC that can operate a web browser to participate in, and it's just amazing. Ralph D'Amico of Laughing Kaiju Games is the creator of it. I am posting a link in the chat, and will be doing so throughout the evening. Seriously, go check it out. Did I mention that it is absolutely free? It is criminal, the lack of finances required to get into this, because it's Lacey here shared the game with me initially here just last Tuesday or Wednesday. I was first exposed to it, and because we play Wildermyth here on the alternating weeks and the voiceover storytelling kind of deal, and it was just so perfectly attuned for what we attempt to do here at Lore with the collaborative storytelling. I instantly fell head over heels for it. It's my first exposure to a leaderless role-playing system, my first exposure to a play-to-lose role-playing system, and both of those concepts are just so incredibly liberating in the telling of a cohesive and just fascinating story. The first game I played, I ended up Doc Manhattan. I played another game over the weekend where I died from a bullet that I had fired into the air in despondence in the previous scene. I just cannot wait. So we're going to get started here. With me this evening are my friends and Lore Discord community members, and soon 2 of them to be cast members on our upcoming Deadlands Wednesday show, right? Happy Meanie, Lacey Cast, and Drew Nelson. Thank you for the follow there, Frostgit. But with that established, we are going to dive into the zone. Now, generally, this is a more collaborative read-in experience, but for the sake of brevity and cohesion, I'll be taking the lead more than you would when typically playing the zone this evening. Thank you for the follow there, Silly Pompano. Now, the goal of this game is to tell a weird, magical, realist horror story of mutation and self-discovery. A story about people who risk everything for an obsession. A story where only one will make it to the end. Alright, so we're going to be here for a couple of hours, right? And coming together to tell a story within that context. This is the mission briefing, which again is generally collaboratively read, but for brevity, I'm just going to tackle it here. So, welcome volunteers. I know you've all been wondering about what the zone really is, and if the rumors are true. As the 14th expedition, you deserve to know what we know. It's not a lot, but it may help you. It all started with the anomalies. Locals calling in to talk radio or visiting their doctors with stories of unseasonal weather, impossible objects, half sightings of unknown creatures, claimed conversations with long-dead loved ones. People disappeared. Medical notes describe bodies that started changing. We initiated special containment procedures, performed tests on those who refused to evacuate. Then, as if reacting to our attention, the boundary appeared and isolated everything and everyone within an area of several square miles. We don't know if there are still survivors, or if they're still human. Since that moment, not a single expedition has returned. All lose contacts minutes after leaving visual range. We're going on fragments, rumors, and occasional anomalies that seep beyond the boundary. We don't know what the zone wants, or if it wants. It seems to be a mirror. It manifests whatever phobias, obsessions, and memories you bring into it. The zone brings them to life to test you. There are rumors that the zone can grant your deepest wish if it deems you worthy. Sensor reading shows something incredibly powerful at its heart. Perhaps the only escape is the center itself. You are the 14th expedition. You will almost certainly not return. Good hunting, but prepare to die. The Federal Bureau of Coherence, without admitting liability, thanks you for accepting this mission. So, we are telling a movie, right, in which we are going to go through several series of scenes. We can choose to play each one of these scenes in as much or as little detail as we want, describing or acting out what the characters are doing. They can be as short as a couple of minutes, but usually 5 minutes or so. And now, usually 5 minutes or so, in my experience, we can get some hairy dogs. Thank you for the follow, Ashby. But, it's collaboratively told, right? Everybody takes turns being the director. There is no GM, no game master, no dungeon master, which is awkward as hell for me. Allow me to assure you, as the perma DM, right, and channel runner here. Like, I go, yeah, no, I'm not driving, and it's actually been wonderful and liberating, but it's been very strange and foreign to me. But we all take turns setting up and ending scenes. And as we all share a few key moves that anybody can trigger along the time that we'll explain as they come up, all right? And we are all playing to lose. Now, I can't stress this enough, dear viewer. Only one person makes it to the center, and in my experience, that is not a victory. So, we are not competing with each other here. It's not me versus Happy Meanie versus Lacey versus Drew. We are all going to die. And it's already been decided right now. The scene in which our characters lose their lives is already predetermined. The die has been cast, de enacta est, the fates have severed the thread. So there's no point in playing it safe, right? So now, every time in one of those films where you're like, why are you running upstairs instead of going out the front door into the light of the street lights, right? Like, you are encouraged to do that in this game, because you know that you have plot armor until your jig is up. And furthermore, by doing the wrong thing, right, the bold thing, you accrue, well, these not-so-easy points that we'll talk about when they come up, too. But this is the board that you're looking at now, viewer. It's a clockwise spiral leading ever further into the center. And it starts in the zone observation facility and then works its way through the boundary into a series of predetermined locales, right? I think there are like 20 of them so far, and they're all wonderfully flavorful. We start again at the zone observation facility, and then we cannot backtrack. There's only one direction forward. That's right, you like that, Raph? I like to get colorful with it. But in each location, like I said previously, we're going to do a few scenes. One storyteller turn is a scene, right? We can choose. The next storyteller can be like, you know what, I really love being in the caverns right now. Let's keep doing scenes here, and they can prolong that location, or they can choose to move on to the next location, right? Let's see here. There are no stats or dice rolls in this. It is phenomenal, guys. It is so fluid in that the only thing you need to do is when somebody does something that seems unreasonable, anybody, including the person performing the unreasonable task, right, can say, that's not so easy, and pull a not so easy card out, right? And that complicates things. It'll tell you whether or not you have succeeded or failed, or you've succeeded and something's happened, or you've failed and things have gotten worse. There are several outcomes that really flavor the thing, but it allows for a really free... You can try any damn thing you like. Really, really. You can't kill another player? That's pretty much it. So like I said previously, fates are predetermined by the fate cards. You can see them arrayed on the board here. Everybody makes it to the campfire, right? But after the campfire, the scenes pluck people off one by one. Now this one's interesting in this arrangement. I have never seen everybody die and then there be a scene with just one person before the center before. I am excited for that narratively. That's only my third game. Yeah, that's interesting. Give them two levels of hell. No, it's the center. It's great. It's all lollipops and cotton candy farts. It's everything you want. I mean, you know, it's a joyous place of reunions and smiles. I mean, they're just handing out lollipops and free keys to the city. But, as I said previously, everybody gets their very own puppy. All right? Thank you, Red Ketchup. Great to see you. You're going to love tonight, man. I promise you. As I said, we all got plot armor until then, so you're going to see all of us do things that in an RPG would be head-scratching, right? Would be like, no, you can't do that. That's going to ruin party cohesion. Impossible in the zone. The zone controls all. And it keeps everything inexorably moving towards the center, almost as though it wills it providentially, you know? Is the zone sentient? I don't know. We find out. Or do we? No, I don't think we... Well, have I ever found out yet? We'll find out together. So...
It really depends on the flavor.
It definitely does. But the game ends at the center. The player who makes it there will ask the zone to grant or free them from their obsession. The remaining players then take on the personification of the zone and judge the survivor and determine their final fate, which has been just Faustian so far. Just Machiavellian, hellish. The last one just woke up every day to a Sisyphusian horror of never having been born when their whole phobia was not being remembered. I mean, it gets rough, guys. It gets rough.
It was choice. It was magnifique. An angel's kiss.
It really was. All right, so there are 4 rules to the zone, and I agree with each and every one of these as a storyteller. And I'm a guy that likes... people disemboweled and penis monsters that are flailing about, you know, like, I'm into the weird stuff, but I respect that not everybody playing is. Fortunately, I've got a good read on these degenerates so far, so I know where we're going to be able to take it tonight. But if you are playing this game with people, right, it is a horror game. So it's designed to push people out of their comfort zones. That being said, here at Lore, we don't do any sexual violence, right? Like, that's something that is explicitly, it's in our contracts with our people. It's just something we never touch, right? Everything else, free game. And even the implication of it sometimes free game. But that's something that personally, that's my X card, right? If that came up in the game, I would hit the X card button and I would say, you know what, guys? Let's find another way to solve this situation without sexual violence, right? Like, Now, I think some people think that's cheesy, and I think they're stupid and wrong, because we're here to tell a story together, not dominate other people with our perspectives, all right? The second thing is atmospheric silence. Now, there are going to be several times in the evening, myself especially, right, where I am just going to be like, oh, but what if it, but they're purple, right? Like, we do not want to do that. We want to allow our storytellers the time it takes to ponder the scene, right? And sometimes there's something to be said for the gravitas that can be added by a little anticipation. All right? So let's not rush to fill those silences with our own thoughts. That being said, any storyteller is, of course, willing, who needs it, is more than able to request our assistance at any point. All right? There is ironclad authority over our characters when it comes to a scene. At no point should you feel pressured for your character to react in a certain way. There we go. It's focusing on my mic there instead of my rapid head movements. Right? If at any point, right, you feel like your character wouldn't do something, right? It's you. I mean, it's you. You're the person making it. Nobody has a right to make you feel like they're pushing you into a scenario that isn't kick-ass. All right? And last, but perhaps most importantly, well, we all are here to play a game, right? Everybody here sitting at the game is a person, right? They have the same pathos, the same internal monologue as you, right? Their experiences are just as vibrant and important to them as yours are to you. So we want to treat them how we want to be treated at all times. And above all things, right, the players are more important than all the rest of this, right? If everybody isn't having a good time, then we have failed to play the zone. But with that established, audience, that's a ton of read-in for these guys. They're champing at the bit. I mean, I am too, frankly. I cannot wait. So, I'm just going to go ahead and slide this bad boy all the way over to the, past our NC-17 softcore, though. Like, you wouldn't get anything here that you wouldn't see on Showtime after dark on a Saturday, you know? Like, side boob and hip gyration at most. That's where I'm at with it. But notice that this here allows everybody to mutually establish where their comfort zone is. So you can start right here. Avoid all that conflict and the weirdness about, where you want to be in the stuff right here at the beginning. I think this is a brilliant... And you'll note here, it doesn't tie any of these lights to anybody. It's not like who's like, I'm actually PG-13. I really respect that as well. You can anonymously request whatever flavor of salt you're looking for. So now we're going to choose the characters. Each character has an obsession, a phobia, and a reason they cannot go back to their old life. All of them know one thing, that the zone will almost certainly kill them, but also believe that it is worth it to fulfill their obsession. So, everybody here is going to pick one of these archetypes from the soldier, the writer, the chaplain, the surgeon, the scientist, the entrepreneur, and the bureaucrat. And eventually custom, which I'm also excited for. Raph, no pressure. No pressure. I mean, you knocked out that experience mode in like 4 hours, bro. Take a breather, you do you. But custom will be nice. Right? Each one of these is 100% one shot, right? And since you know that they are going to die definitively, right, there's no need to make them a likable protagonist, right? It's one of the things that I find most liberating about this. When I'm playing an RPG with people, right, especially an RPG that I'm showing to an audience, right, I have this desire to make a likable character. Right? And it is not at all essential in the zone. Right? In fact, like, you can be terrible, and since you are slain in the end, right, the moral arc of the universe still, it writes itself. Right? So, I was a deplorable archetypal soldier 80s anti-hero in the last session, and died by my own hand when it was my phobia to do so. Like, and it was perfect, and he wasn't likable even... I would refer to him at best as a tap-out-wearing, Ed Hardy peacocking douchebag, right? But within the confines of the storytelling of the zone, he was a lot of fun to play. So what are we thinking through here, guys, tonight?
I am deeply staring at the writer, just something about it speaking to me tonight.
Right, the story of the zone. Excellent, I like that.
I'm actually leaning to entrepreneur because I don't usually play a business type.
Interesting. Entrepreneur writer, what are you thinking, Happy Meanie?
Surgeon.
Surgeon.
Everyone alive is completely polar opposite to me, so.
So, I could, Everybody else sounds pretty low. Let me jack them up again. That is interesting. We did an audio check at the beginning and everything. It's probably because the music's too kick-ass.
Oh, of course. This music's amazing.
Tabletop audio, everybody. I can't recommend the dude enough. But, what do I want to do? I think, I'm going chaplain. I never play a good chaplain. I have jacked him up a little. Ooh, Brace Gabriel. Wow, that went religious immediately there with the auto roll audience. That was good. Let's see here. What should my obsession... Oh, God, that's perfect. Wow. Can you hear the voice of God again? Yes. Yeah, oh, it just wrote it for me. And that's the thing. I do not come into the zone with any preconception of the character I want to play. I explicitly... it's antithetical to how I do these things, right? I normally have, like, character lines literally written out that I refer to add pluck, right? But here in the zone, I feel really encouraged to just show up and do whatever speaks to me in the moment. And that is very liberating. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, that's meaningless. There's no one out there listening. Why can... Audience, how about you help me out here? Why can Brace Gabriel, the chaplain, here to protect everyone's humanity, not return to his old life? Ooh, they're pretty jacked up, too. Whistleblower in the church. He was lost, his church, his family, and now the loss of faith and the whistleblower. Ooh, exorcism. I like all of these guys. Dang. Maybe I lost my faith by killing somebody in a botched exorcism. I'm feeling all that. And which I embezzled. Now we're putting a hat on a hat there. And fled, embezzling church funds. How about that? We're working them all in there. That's... Ooh. Oh, God. I can't spell embezzling. What am I... There it is. No, that's not it either. We're going to right-click that. I don't embezzle often. Alright, beautiful. So that is good for me. It looks like we have Alexander Cohen, the writer. Let's check.
Almost done.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. I've heard that before. Oh,
I actually am almost done.
Uh-huh. Hey, Gumbus, why don't you tell us a little bit? What's your faith or your obsession, phobia, and reason you cannot go back?
Well, my obsession is inspiration. There is a certain beauty that can be found within the fantastic, the whimsical, the grotesque, and the perverse. It is all worth observing. It is all worth experiencing. My phobia is irrelevance. Perhaps my whole life's work is meaningless. My name and words as mundane and banal as the color gray. This is probably a one-way trip, but you're going anyway because you cannot go back to the benign existence out there. I have done what I have for the soul of art in conveying the most true form of an experience, a sensation, what have you. And now I'm about to partake in my greatest journey to write a story unlike any other. To turn back now would be to turn my back upon the very soul of creativity.
Excellent. Excellent. That was... My God. That was very, writerly. It's almost like you were a writer.
It's almost like my mother's an author.
Right, yeah. Oh, we're name drop? Is that what we're here to name drop our...
No.
Right. No. I once rubbed elbows with Leonard Nimoy at a Comic-Con. Yeah, that's fine. Excellent. I still only see him. Now I'm just filling space here. These two are going off. And that's great because I like that the zone also allows you to really... I mean, if you want a biography for your soon-to-be slain character, there's no reason not to have one.
I think my idea might end up with me becoming a writer because I need to change. I need to change files.
I am interested. Oh, here we go. Happy Meanie. The surgeon, Dr. Mary Serum. That's on the nose. I like it. I mean, with a name like Mary Serum, you were going into medicine. There's just, Oh, you're muted.
Mary Typhoid Serum.
Oh, no. Excellent. And what is your obsession, phobia?
My obsession is my full potential. I have an obsession with what I can do with my hands. I've killed surgeon. I've done everything. I've given my life to the corporation. I've become the best in my field of doing alterations with my hands.
Excellent. And your phobia?
Amputating myself or having to be amputated. I can amputate anything off of anybody.
It appears that my browser has frozen.
Oh, no. Well, refresh that browser.
Firefox, please.
Firefox? What is this, 2002? Wait, who's the...
2000
The zone only works in Firefox for me.
Oh, no.
Okay, it actually doesn't take that long to load back in.
You'll be back in a second. But, and the reason you cannot go back... Amputation? Really? You have a fear of amputation? What? You know that's going to come up now.
I can cut anything off of anybody, but...
Right. No, yeah.
No.
personal
No.
self-amputation. This is definitely going to go Clive Barker. I can already feel it.
Oh, that's much better.
Ooh, I'm all for a Clive Barker vibe.
Excellent. All right. And now, I hate to say it again, Nukes, but this is the third time that I'm waiting on you on that. It's good that you're thorough. That's
No, that wasn't me typing this time. It was my browser being slow.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot go back. I haven't done
Please
that
do, yeah.
one. So, can't go back to being pushed to making more and more extreme alterations, going too far. I've been too loyal to the corporation. I've gone as far as I can. I've gone as far as I was told. And a young mother has died at my hands.
In surgical experimentation? Oh, shrug. Okay. Young mom died at your hands. You're into altering people with your medicines. And a second writer, Ellis King.
Yes.
Ellis King, please tell us your obsession, phobia, and reason you cannot go back.
Well, my name is Ellis King. My obsession is that I want everyone to hear my words. I am a radio host for, like, a talk show. My phobia is losing my voice. Like, being unable to talk.
This is definitely gonna go Clive Barker. Holy shit.
This is fucking Art Bell over here as a character.
And the reason I can't go back is because I murdered my radio co-host on air during a lapse of sanity.
Like, live on air? I'm pretty sure that's an FCC fine. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't think they're gonna be...
So we have Art Bell as a serial killer. I like it.
Yeah, you had to show up Howard Stern. Now, were you a shock jock? What did you forget to establish there, Drew?
Oh, just the fact that, Mr. Cohen is totally here under the guise of being a researcher to document things.
Excellent, but he's actually here as a writer?
Yes.
Wow. That's true. She flashed somebody on the radio. That would get her in trouble. Murder's all right. All right, we have introduced our characters, so with that, we are going to enter the zone. Happy Meanie has been randomly picked as the first director, and she is going to pick and set up what the zone observation facility, and what form it takes.
So our Expedition 14, has arrived at the zone observation facility. There's field tents, sandbags, all kinds of portable, rugged, no man's land type equipment. It's old, battered, it's not in great condition. It moves, we can move quickly and move agilely.
Excellent. So for this scene prompt... Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
There's been rumors going around. The team, they've been whispering a lot. Like, walking away from me, not saying things. They know I work for the corporation. They know my history. But they keep going off, talking about rumors that they've heard. So we see the chaplain in the corner, kind of fiddling around with things. Well, what's the chaplain feeling? What rumors has he heard?
You know, as a man of God, I try not to put much service into the rumors, but it's hard not to notice that there's a unlordly feeling on the air, isn't there? There's a bit about the place that sets you at unease. And not least so because of you heard of the skeletal trees that seem to reach out and grab you as you're wandering past.
Ellis King, the writer, is kind of walking by the chaplain. He wants to talk to him, but he doesn't really know what to say. He's got the rumors on his mind as well. Nukes, what is Ellis thinking? What rumors is he stuck on?
Well, Ellis seems to have like an earpiece in his ear, followed by a little microphone, and he has a device in his hand that seems to be like an antenna, and he seems to be speaking as he's walking. Well, my dear listeners, it appears that the zone's boundary is only about a mile ahead. I've been hearing strange things, such as creatures speaking in loved ones' voices, even if they have been beyond the mortal coil for a long time. And he just keeps walking.
Alexander kind of catches a hint of what Ellis was talking to himself about. It triggers the rumors he's heard as well. Gumbus, take us inside Alexander's head. What rumors is he stuck on?
And I just realized there's a prop I could use across the room, but I'm not running for it right now. Like Alexander, as he's walking by, he's just writing absentmindedly in this very, very thick journal he has with him, and, listening to everything Ellis is going off about. He just, kind of calls, "Oh yes, but have you heard of the fractal clouds and diamond sunsets? Truly a sight to behold. I'm hoping that we're actually going to be blessed enough to take in the majesty of whatever anomalous landscapes await us."
No offense to you there, Mr. Cohen, but that sounds a sight more heavenly than what I've been observing.
Heavenly, hellish, anomalous, it's all the same.
Perhaps
it's
you're
otherworldly.
penchant for fiction. Be getting the better of you.
Ellis kind of walks over excitedly, still holding that broadcaster in his hand, and he goes, "Oh, I think some of my listeners would love to hear what you guys have to say about the zone. Certainly. Do you have any words?"
Oh, Mary interrupts all of this. We need to move, okay? There are things we need to get done. We need to move on. We can't sit here and we have to go. We have to push on. We have to get to the core.
I do concur. For the sake of research, it's best if we expedite this process.
Excellent, and I am the next director, and will be taking over the narrator's role. We are going to move to the boundary. This is the point of no return for the expedition, where this is where the fun begins. Woo!
Fun time!
And I am picking the boundary. The boundary itself is intangible, incorporeal, not a physical or visual thing. Once you pass through it, the first thing that you notice is the hairs arise on the back of your neck, and the oxygen changes to become filled with ozone and smoggy, kind of hard to inhale. The effect on the plant life is obvious. It seems as though the chaplain's rumor proved true, and it's not just the skeletal trees, but indeed all the grass has been deaded. Curiously, from the outside of the boundary when walking forward, it didn't appear as though there was anything wrong with the grass at all until we passed through. You get the feeling on the back of your neck, glance around, everything around you dead, and as you turn to look, even though you've passed through the boundary, everything outside the zone is now dead as well. The buildings are all in decay, the canvas tents from the observation facility sun-bleached and in tatters, as though they had been there for years and years.
Early for that.
That is early for that. Let me get
That's
another
early.
prompt here. Let me get one more. Gumbus.
Hi.
Drew, certainly you glance up, and to you, the clouds are rainbow iridescence of fractals, and the sunlight bursts through them with a crystalline glare that is obscenely beautiful. It takes your breath away, and you feel compelled to elaborate on it, and find a way to capture it, the ineffable, with words.
And
he's the only one that sees it.
And Mr. Cohen is walking forward, more middle of the group. He looks up, absolutely captivated, looks down, takes in the landscape, looks up again, just like, as he's riding, he's going, such a radiant sight, some otherworldly grace to be shed upon such a dead and desiccated land. It's a macabre contrast reminding us of how beauty is always so close to that which is dead and rotten. And he actually starts trying to sketch one of the clouds.
The chaplain wanders over and observes you just kind of furiously scribbling at nothing while seeing enraptured by, and I look up and, I see the overcast, heavy clouds. It looks like it's about to rain, but certainly nothing glorious or descript, It's just a gray morning. Are you alright there, Cohen?
Real quick, please remind me, what is your official title? Reverend, Father, what do you prefer?
Gabriel will do.
Miss Gabriel, please stop hovering over my shoulder. I'm trying to encapsulate a moment here, and I feel like trying to draw a impossible to comprehend fractal cloud is what one would call as not so easy.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not so easy.
Oh, that's absolutely not so easy. Mr. Will, would you like to explain not so easies real quick?
So, yes. He has called a not so easy card upon himself, dear viewer, which means that he is attempting to do something that is difficult, right? He can call it on himself. He can have any one of us could have called it on him for doing the attempt, right? Now, the zone will decide whether or not he successfully draws an impossible to comprehend fractal cloud, which is going to blow some noodles if he can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the card says, yes, and the zone mutates you in a small but noticeable way, and I know exactly. As he perfectly captures this impossible cloud, within his eyes, which were already somewhat bloodshot, the veins you can see within them, as well as within the sclera, within the pupil, the edges of his iris, start morphing and changing in this ever spiraling fractal configuration.
Ooh, that's pretty creepy. I'm loving this so far. Why is it always a eye mutation at the beginning?
It's always an eye mutation.
So good.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's something visceral about the eye. Any of the body parts that have mucosa for some reason.
And after all, the eyes are the window to the soul.
Yes.
Ellis seems kind of like bounds past the rest of the group ahead of everyone else, and he's just excitedly, like, he has that broadcaster on his hip, and he has his hand to his earpiece, and he's just like jabbering on about the sights that he's seeing or how he's feeling, and it's like he's performing a play to no one in particular.
The chaplain is definitely giving himself the sign of the cross as he takes in your eyes there. And finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so you can take your stand against the devil's actions.
Ellis kind of turns on his heel and looks at the rest, and when he sees Cohen's eyes, he kind of like bounds forward and just kind of looks like he's abnormally close to your face, and he's just kind of describing, it's like, wow, it's like a spiral, never-ending spiral in this man's eyes. It appears that the zone is already affecting the members of our team.
Not much of a team, innit?
Mary can't stand this. Mary's like, guys, get your heads out of your asses, okay? We have to
Oh,
focus.
you're no fun.
Forgive me, it's part of my research method. It's the nature of trying to capture something as abstract as the zone in as abstract wording as possible.
Hey,
I feel like
boyo.
the zone may be beyond science.
You got a mirror.
Not on me.
He pulls out his cell phone and kind of like does the selfie mirror.
Fascinating.
It's like an indefinite fractal that just ever twists onward and inward. Oh, it is gorgeous.
I'll write that down. Not
You
the
better
wording
credit
I
me.
used,
I deserve royalties for this.
All right.
He wasn't writing it down, I would swear. This guy took acid before we came on this expedition. I mean, what is happening here?
I will write that down. It's so casual. Man, I gotta say, if my sclera started fractalizing, right, I would definitely be like, I'm gonna be a little less casual about this. But, the writer is definitely singularly obsessed, is he not? So, that's wonderful.
Sturgeon reaches over.
Oh, we can
Sturgeon
fix
reaches
that.
over.
Yeah, you can
Well,
fix
Mary,
that,
yeah.
couldn't you, Happy Meanie?
Let me take care of that. Because it seems like it's making you very, very distracted, and we need to move on.
Excellent.
Fine. The book is closed. Here, let me just... And he, ties the band around it.
Are you sure? I mean, I can cut that out. I can get rid of that. I can make
No.
I can make you
No.
what you were.
Yes,
can make
but
you
we're here
perfect.
to learn.
Focus.
We're here to learn. Learning requires sacrifice and being willing to change.
We're here to get to the center and get the answers.
Yes, and how do we get the answers if we're always reverting to zero anyways? And Cohen just starts pulling ahead.
It appears
Nice.
that there is already fighting within the group. It appears the Dear Doctor and the other creative in the group are now in a spat.
Excellent.
Ooh.
And we are now in the zone, beyond the point of no return, in the boundary itself. This is when stuff starts to get exceedingly weird, dear viewer.
I've never been in the caverns. Ooh, this'll be fun. Alright, I am the director. Let's see what we got here. Alright, we got this one. Shimmering life coats the walls, bathing a beautiful cave system in life that only gets weirder the deeper you get. So, as we move into the zone proper, it seems that there's only one way to go. It is a... there's only one way to go. It is the mouth of a large cave that seems to go into a mountain. And there's not much. There's maybe a few glints of something sparkling or shimmering in the cave. And we go in. The group goes in, and Ellis is still rambling on, and he has clicked a flashlight on so he's able to see. But as he moves his flashlight along the walls, as he moves the light, there's a bioluminescence that seems to spread and go down the cave proper. We only have one mutation. Let me see here. Okay, I got this. So, the group heads in, and Ellis is just rambling on, excitedly shimmering the light over the strange moss, fungus, whatever, that seems to pulsate with light every time he shines a light over it. But as we go deeper into the caverns, there's bits and pieces of shiny, glowing, bioluminescent crystal that has its own light that eventually gets to the point that Ellis no longer needs to have his flashlight on. He keeps it on, however, because the ground continues to pulsate with light whenever he shimmers it back and forth. We get into this large cavern, larger than normal cavern, and it seems that there's like a pool of water, and there's a large, like, is it a stalagmite or stalactite? Mite goes...
Tight to the ceiling stands mighty.
So down is tight.
Stalag, tight, G for ground, boom.
Okay, like there's a
Stalag,
large...
ceiling,
Stalag.
tight, yeah.
It's so dumb. There's stalactites, like, that seem to be growing from the ceiling, made out of this crystal, dripping into the water. Like, slowly. Drip, drip, drip. With this bioluminescent ripple every time there's a drip of water.
Even here, the Lord provides miracles. He says he's going to reach out and touch the glowing crystal.
But something's
softly
not right.
caressing it. Oh, yeah. What's not right?
What's not right?
Let me explain this real quick, actually. So, the something not right card can be triggered by anybody, right? I'm trying to reach out and touch this crystal. Either not so easy or something's not right, of course, right? You can't just reach out and touch the stuff in Curiosity in a horror movie. That's not how it works, right? So the person who has triggered this card, in this case Nukes, right, is going to add the something's not right and then explain it. And then somebody else, right, can go, oh yeah, and it's actually worse than that because, and add something to it. And then you got to incorporate the escalation and then the storytelling continues. So please, Nukes, what is not right?
What's not right is when you touch this growing ceiling crystal, there's like a ding, like, you know when you touch like a bellhop bell very lightly and it just goes shing?
Mm-hmm.
You touch it and there's another flash of bioluminescence and the crystal itself seems to start to wiggle and start cracking.
Lord, is that you? It's so beautiful. It's full of stars. But it's worse than that, because it's starting to crack, right? And as it cracks, rays of light are leaping out of the crack, and it's blinding to you all. But where they're touching his skin, it's starting to suppurate and blister, and he's completely oblivious to the fractal scarring starting to appear on his face as the light from the broken crystal comes out.
Ooh.
Barry shoves him over, out of the way. Stop. We have to fix this. We have to go. Let me fix this. You're falling apart.
There's
out of
more
your
of
head.
that light. There's more of that light as it cracks, and there seems to be like a insectoid arm that pulls, that kind of like pulls itself and is starting to pull itself out of what is now to you a crystalline cocoon.
Lord, is that ye? I say, trying to stand up and walk towards the insectoid creature, clearly misinterpreting this horrifically, I'd imagine.
Alexander very briefly just sticks his offhand into one of the rays of light to let it burn him. And like he's gritting his teeth through this.
Ellis is like, he kind of is shielding his eyes slightly, hands still on that earpiece, and he's just like, it appears that my colleague Alexander Cohen has lost his mind as he is voluntarily exposing himself to third-degree burns.
Ellis.
It is meant to be felt a freezing fire such as this.
Ellis, help me. Help me
Words
pull
for it
them
to escape
away.
me in the infinitesimal pain.
I can still heal them. I can
Though
still fix them.
the large insect is a problem unto its own.
Certainly now walking into the stream of light and not static in front of it now, but moving through it, half of his face becoming seared as it becomes exposed. Right? He's clearly citing scripture. And the smoke of their torment goes up forever and ever, and they have the rest of the day and the night to worship, and the beast in his image, and whoever receives the mark of his name.
It
We need to
appears that
get
the
them
Reverend
out.
has gone insane from the sight of this impossible creature. And there's like that scene from Godzilla where Mothra is like their wings kind of flare out. There's a thunderous crack through behind
if it's a moth
as
creature,
wings.
I'm actually not there for it. I hate moths. God, no.
Hell yeah.
They are the worst of flying insects. Surround me with bees before you surround me with moths. God.
Bees! So many bees!
Ellis, we have to stop them. I can
There's
still
more
save them. I can still fix
screeching
them.
as it seems it's having difficulty getting out. It appears that I am going to have to leave this as the light is getting brighter and brighter and I am beginning to turn into chicharrones. And he...
Chaplain's shirt falls down to the ground, the smoldering charred bits from the shoulder where it's been burned through as a unified piece of fabric, you know?
I feel like approaching possibly God is a not so easy there, Chaplain.
Yeah, I would imagine, you know. I'm reaching out to touch the face of God, to caress the sanguine perfectness of the Lord, right? Who happens to be a bug moth creature being born from a crystalline stalactite, you know? So, I mean, I'm here for it. Yes, but the success has dangerous unintended consequences for the entire expedition, right? As I reach out towards the moth creature, it reaches back towards me, right? Its proboscis untwirling rapidly and forcing itself down my throat from my mouth agape, right? There's noise for a second as my body ratchets, right? And then I turn back to you, burned, right? Blood oozing from my mouth, saying, "Everything will be fine now, my children."
Like... We're not even that far. This is already weird. I love it.
Yeah, no, we're in the first scene.
Didn't
Still
have to
something.
happen.
Oh God, what's going on with my cameras?
This didn't have to happen. Could have fixed this. Yeah, we
Adjust.
could have stopped it. Uh-oh.
Yeah, give me 1 second. It's all broken. It's madness. Why is it focused on one person? Focus on nobody. Cameras. Seriously. What in the hell? All right, 1 second. We're going to fix this right now. I'm going to disconnect and I'm going to reconnect. So you don't see cameras now because this is a professional production. This is how we do it. Boom. Done. Sold it. Solid. Moving on.
Nice.
So yeah, forced something down my throat, and now despite the fact that I'm horrifically burned to the fact that like one of my eyes burst from boiling and liquefied and has run down my face, right? And I'm turned around now completely serene. Just, everything will be fine now, my children. And progress forward, just walking away.
Cohen's going to start moving, of course, to get away from the horrific moth demon. And as he is going, he is, like, you know, talking as he writes, as he always has, of, "I am forever in awe of the faith of the dying man, clearly, as he approaches a false god." No, it's not it! Starting again from the top.
Polytheism is a strong motivator in many cultures, and it just seems that the Reverend has found another god. He is a monolaterist to us all.
Shut the fuck up, King.
You're just jealous that you don't have live listeners.
Doctor,
Why did they send
I
me here
think
with these people?
That live streaming outside the zone is not so easy.
It's not so easy.
Oh no!
Yeah, you have live listeners. Let's see. Do you? Yes! But the zone mutates you.
If I'm not... the zone mutates me, because I'm live streaming away out the zone.
Now, it doesn't have to be related to live streaming necessarily, but yes.
But I like
be.
going for themes.
Yeah.
Themes are fun. Themes make
They
it
are.
easy.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Have fun with your
they're
broadcast mutation, I don't know.
I love broadcasts.
Radio host, man, doing a podcast.
Cheat sheet. Come here, cheat sheet. You're my
I mean,
only
podcasts are killing radio. It's not your fault you're in a dying genre, you know? Like...
Oh.
Burn.
Alright, come on. Let's pick a mutation. You are so indecisive, Nukes.
So I'm thinking of, you know, the old satellite antennas that were on top of houses, where it's like the stick, but with like the one and then the other?
Could you not refer to that as old? First off. Like,
No,
ouch,
I remember having
ouch.
them on my house.
Yeah, no, bunny ears
Yes,
that then left. What we called them aerials back in the day. It was,
Aerials?
Yes,
yeah, it's an
aerials.
aerial antenna. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
So
and you had to,
my
your
idea,
parents literally made you climb up onto the roof without any kind
Channel
of safety
3.
gear and adjust it while they screamed at you out one of the open windows. It was the 80s. It was a simpler time.
Channel 3 is the only one allowed to play video games.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
I remember this. So what happens is, as he's like booking it out through another tunnel, he's kind of like scratching at his head, like so much that there's like bits of flesh falling off, and there seems to be nubs of metal slowly growing that look like those satellite antennas, but look more antlerish. He's like,
So you have metal antlers protruding from your skull. That's got to feel awesome.
That's badass. But yeah, and it's at this point that Cohen turns to Dr. Serum. Still a weird ass name, and he's like, Doctor, as soon as we're out of this, you may want to perform an operation on the good priest we have with us. I imagine he is coming down with something quite awful, and I've seen enough science fiction to know that sometimes the proboscis is secretly a ovipositor.
Are
I
you
can
sure you
hear
have not
you.
been impregnated?
I can hear what you're thinking. It's amazing.
You're muted, Happy Meanie.
Fractalized, really? You're asking me to do a procedure on the chaplain when you got fucked up fractalized.
I
And
mean,
you
Yes,
won't let me
and
fix
he just
that.
yes, and he just got a well, some foreign appendage shoved down his throat. I don't know what's more pressing to you, the eyes or the blood out of the mouth, the burns, the burst eyeball, perhaps.
Tried to help him, he didn't want it.
well,
we
it appears
still
that
have
we
a
will
plan,
be able to handle that later when we are running away from this destructive creature. There's a from behind us.
Oh, yeah. Excellent. Excellent. We are now being chased by the giant moth
Do another
Mouth
scene of the
fucking-
caverns.
crystal entity. Well, no, it's just a moth entity. It was a crystal stalactite that it was using as a chrysalis.
So, as the group starts running, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just gunning it through the caverns. Well, I'm not sure if the chaplain's fully gunning it. But
No,
maybe
but he
is.
walked ahead. You guys are almost caught up to him. He's just kind of slowly ambling.
He's just kind of going. The group in their panic sprint plus the chaplain's I'm playing a writer. I need better words. The chaplain's very
Meandering
anticlimactic
face.
reaction to possibly seeing the face of God, at least in his perception. We're able to find a quick little escape in ducking down a much, much smaller side tunnel. Kind of, well, who is it that drags the chaplain in with us?
I think
God.
it would be the surgeon.
Does the surgeon drag the chaplain into the tunnel with us?
The surgeon drags the chaplain.
But something's
Fantastic.
not right because you go to grab my arm, right, to pull me in, and the skin sloughs off in a sheet, right, exposing the wet, red, meaty tissue beneath.
But it's worse than that,
Oh,
because the red muscle underneath seems to look wrong. That the same fractal shapes that were in the other rider's eyes seem to be etching themselves into your muscles.
All right, that's it.
Excellent.
That's it. We're cutting this off, trashing it. And you, Alex, you're next. Your eyes, they gotta go. It's fucked up. It's spreading.
You
I'm
should
just-
not presume to fix the Lord's perfection, Doctor.
I'll fix it all.
The psychosis is getting worse, dear listeners.
I can do anything with my hands.
So, It's upon ducking down this side tunnel, the moth chasing behind us but unable to enter such a cramped space. And here the bioluminescence comes from both the fungi along the walls as well as small little worms that crawl along the ceiling. The cramped space gradually opening up the deeper we proceed until everyone can hear in the back of their heads, resonating with just the slightest bit of radio static accompanying it, the sound of crickets. At first it seems like two crickets, but it sounds more like a weird reverb upon a singular cricket.
The god cricket? Is that what we're after? I mean, is it one big cricket? Is it?
And
No, but it's something's not right.
go on.
Because the one cricket noise reverberating around, right, then starts to sound like many crickets, and we realize that amongst the bioluminescence, right, the undulating carpet of the floor is also thousands and thousands of insects that we're mashing into a pulp with every footstep.
Gross.
And I dare say it's worse than that.
How is it worse?
In that chirping is getting louder and louder. It's starting to ring in your ears, and everyone feels just that little bit of blood trickle out of your nose.
Ellis grabs the radio antlers and is just like trying, like he's pulling at them because it's like it seems like the noise is hurting him a lot more than the rest of you.
But speaking of that, Ellis, because this is a prompt that's supposed to present you with an irresistible temptation, and I don't know if this is necessarily temptation, but you'll certainly find it noteworthy, in that some of the larger crickets that start showing themselves hopping about, one lands on your arm, and your eyes immediately notice that this cricket looks as if it is made out of broadcasting equipment, except thousands of years ahead in technology.
He kind of like pauses and kind of like holds his arm out, and then he kind of like takes his finger and has the cricket like move onto his finger, and he's just moves it to his other finger, and then he puts his finger back to that earpiece, and he goes, "It appears, listeners, that there is a strange insect on my finger. It looks like a cricket, but it looks very futuristic. It is quite fascinating. It looks like it has radio antenna for... obviously it's antenna, haha. And...
Mr. King,
very...
do not be deceived by the lies of the Dark One.
Dark One? It's just a cricket that has been changed by the zone's influence. Certainly... He picks it up and he just kind of looks at it before crushing it in his palm.
That's not so easy.
That's not so easy. It's really not so easy, my guy.
No, you do not, because the zone mutates you. You feel it asking you what you've long wanted. It gives it to you. So in lieu of being able to crush this broadcast cricket, you're going to explain what you've long wanted to us in the audience, and then the zone is going to find a way to fulfill that wish.
Well, being unable to crush the cricket, Ellis wants people to hear his voice. He wants to be able to tell stories and just basically talk to everyone he is capable of talking to. He has been basically talking to anyone who has been tuning in this entire time. What would mutate? Oh, mutation. Oh, I got it. His voice, like when he goes to crush it, and he kind of goes, ow, and he does this with his hand, and he's like, "Ow, you son of a bit!" And then like he starts coughing, and then suddenly his voice gets this tinny sort of sound, kind of like he's talking through an old 1920s radio. Very transatlantic accent.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
And like in an instant as you're talking, Alexander just steps forward. He puts his pin directly to your throat. Shut the fuck up. I have a splitting headache because of these damnable crickets. Just stop talking. You're making it worse. And he just wipes more blood out from under his nose.
Nukes, can we get that transatlantic from you?
Well then, listeners, it appears that my voice has changed.
King, I'm warning you.
You're just jealous that you don't sound like a 1920s radio announcer.
You know, I don't
Currently
quite know.
announcing races.
I don't quite know what the warm spray of blood feels like. I'd love to have the experience in my repertoire.
It appears that I am being threatened with homicide. I am leaving now.
The
Keep moving.
chaplain is going to hover over to you, right? Place his hand, now stripped, and you can see the skeletal network and the fractalization of the venous structures that run across the back, and say, "Be at ease, my child. The Lord hath spoken to me, and it is not his time."
Fascinating. Thank you for informing me, sir. I will remember the words of a crazy man. And Cohen just keeps walking. And like at this point, he literally he slips earbuds in to try and block the sound.
I mean, that's not. Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna be able to block that. Yeah, no. But your failure has unexpected positive consequences.
Well,
Earbuds
I feel like an unexpected positive consequence is that, of course, the earbuds break, and of course that is not succeed in drowning out the noise. But I would certainly say that there's a brief sound of within the psionic cricket noise. There's like this weird feedback sound right when the earbuds pop, and they pop. And the sound of the crickets is more muffled, like the connection's not as good.
Oh, I was assuming you just ruptured your eardrums with your exploding earbuds, but and you're just deaf for the rest of the thing. Like,
Oh no,
that's
there's
awesome,
definitely gonna be
crickets.
long-lasting. There's definitely gonna be long-lasting tinnitus.
Excellent.
Perma headache.
All right.
Like perma headache, yeah. And I feel like I can end scene there. That's a good end scene. I just want some cricket shit.
All right. So just some cricket shit. Well, you got it. Happy Minnie. Up next, are you taking us to the theme park?
Are you still muted?
She's still muted. She is. Yeah.
I'm getting out of this cricket hell. It's nasty.
Cricket
That
hell.
is nasty.
Cricket hell.
Ugh.
Cricket hell.
Yeah, ever
hell.
since I saw Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, like bug carpets have had a certain effect on my psyche, right? Like they were implanted there when I was a wee little dude.
Those
And
are
now,
the formative years.
right. And now they just stuck up in there. Bug carpet. I'm good, yo. Whatever's in there is theirs. They own it now. Oh, my wife's in there with the rest of my possessions, just covered in Madagascar hissing cockroaches. Sorry, you're the cockroaches now, my love.
Forever.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, we are moving on then.
So we're moving on into an old theme park. Crowded Ferris wheel looms over overgrown galleries, carnival stands, fun houses. Everything's very, very old, dingy, decrepit. So, a weird fractal creature pops up.
Oh, describe it.
Mary looks at it. She thinks she's seen a Pomeranian out of the corner of her eye, but we're out here in the middle of nowhere. There's no life. Everything's dead, but it looked like a little happy Real Housewives dog. She looks over to Gabriel, did you see that? Was that a yappy dog? But it looked digital?
I didn't see anything.
A yappy dog.
Gabriel, tell us what you saw. Do you see anything? Is she crazy?
It's kind of like slicks the antlers back, kind of like more of it in a stylistic choice. Well, it appears that you are possibly suffering from Zoon-induced psychosis. You are possibly seeing many hallucinations, as
No. Gabriel was here with me. You saw that, right?
The creature was small, but do unto the least of these things as you would do unto me. Perhaps we should follow it.
Onwards, my dear adventurers, let us continue our expedition.
You know, once upon a time, I went to a county fair much like this back in my hometown. It was fair enough fun time. I fell off the carousel, but my foot was caught. First time I broke my ankle. The pain I have never forgotten. But yes, let's follow the small... what did you describe it as?
A fractal Pomeranian, I believe, was the...
Yeah, did you see it?
No, I didn't see...
You didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything, but
You didn't see that little...
The
yappy,
chaplain definitely
horrible-
saw you head movement follow something and swears that he saw some movement duck behind one of the battered carnival stalls with the old pellet rifles you had used to shoot the ducks as they went by on the conveyor, but I mean, he's not certain that he saw anything at all.
Well, then whatever it was, I would love to find it.
Something's not right. Who triggered that?
I did.
Ooh,
Yes.
That's not right, Manny.
She knows the chaplain saw it.
And it's worse than that, right? Because not only did the chaplain see it, but he must have seen it without his vision because his other eye has become completely milked over with a cataract that has fractal lines of white running through it.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Chaplain, what do you do with this new vision? What do you do?
What new vision, my child? There is only one vision, one truth, and that is unto the Lord.
Well, we can't
beginning-
trust Alex.
At the beginning of this walk, you mocked me for seeing fractals, and yet you seem to be quite in tune with my visions now.
It appears the polytheism has been spread even more.
I'm in
No,
tune
more
with nothing of
accurately-
this world anymore.
More accurately, I do believe the man without faith was right, while the man of God has been proven wrong.
Perhaps
shouldn't
God
have
is
these things.
just outside of your simple comprehension.
They
Perhaps
can't
God's
handle them.
subjective.
These things need to be removed.
God was certainly outside of my comprehension until I was made to see. Perhaps you could be made to see.
They're not ready
Yes,
for
and
it, Gabriel. You have to let
was
me
it
cut
that,
it out of them.
How was it that Moses punished those who worship the golden calf?
You have the wrong of it, boy. It was the Lord that punished them.
Moses acting for the Lord, what have you, it doesn't matter.
Your
Gabriel.
religion is just 3 gods in a trench coat.
You
It
have to
will
let me cut
soon.
this out of them.
Fuck up.
They're not ready for it. They're the wrong ones. They're the wrong ones for the expedition. They
I
chose
Yes.
wrong.
couldn't agree
Listen,
with you more. The zone
With your manic...
You
couldn't
have
agree
to
with
let
you
me
more.
cut it out of them, or it's gonna ruin all of the work that the
zone
corporation's done.
We'll cut it out of them.
With your manic ramblings about autopsy and cutting it out of people to figure it out, I wouldn't be surprised if you just up and told me that you smashed your nephew's head open with a cinder block and a hammer.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. That's a reference.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
But Happy
Anyways,
Meanie, we've encountered a
that-
helpful creature that lives here. It's run off behind the shooting gallery now. Do we follow it?
Yeah, we do. We do. Mary's gonna follow the creature. Gonna see.
And Cohen's gonna follow Mary.
what it'll do in exchange. She wants to know if it'll fucking kill Cohen because, dear God.
Not for 2 scenes at least.
I am the least mutated person here, besides you.
Well, you haven't done
What?
anything risky, especially.
Wait, hang on, wait. So I'm fine, but Radio Overhead's about to start singing about how he wishes he was fucking special, and that's fine?
Ellis.
to sing
You need to get over here. Ellis, come over here and look at this thing. This little shiny Pomeranian-looking thing. I can't talk to it. It doesn't understand me. You got the horn things.
They are
Something-
antenlers. I'm workshopping the name. Anyways,
As you guys round the corner to look at the thing, something's not right, because you do indeed see the fractal Pomeranian creature. It is dog-sized and comprised of a never-ending fourth dimension undulating set of prisms, right? But it is obvious that amongst those impossible-to-comprehend prisms are rows and rows of fangs starting to manifest themselves like shark's teeth filling a jaw.
It's worse than that. There's multiple dogs.
Several other dogs around the corner. They're the little fractal Pomeranians starting to group up.
I wonder how they're helpful. That's director's discretion at that point.
Yeah, they are. I mean, we were being chased by a giant moth creature, not to, maybe they're growing teeth to prevent another horrific thing or that or what, I'm not helping, though. It's against the rules.
They
So are you
know
saying
how
the
to
dogs
stop
killed
it.
God? Anyways.
But
They
that's what
can.
made it
You can
worse.
kill moth.
Several little fractal creatures with rows of fractal fangs, fractaling fractally as they fractalize.
Ellis
They
kind of
can't
like
kill moths.
bounds forward. Ellis bounced forward towards the dogs and he's like, "Hello, little ones. May I pet you?" And he reaches out to touch.
And they all growl at him like,
Well, I mean, you can't pet the fractal dogs. That's,
I want to pet the fractal dog.
well,
They're
let's see
here to
if the
help
zone
you. They're
wants
here
you
to help
to.
you, but they're not here to be
Don't let me
pet.
pet the fractal dog.
Yes, but you have to reveal something about your character's past to succeed.
Okay. Like, as he goes to pet one of the fractal dogs, he picks it up and he's like, "Ah, it feels like radio static or some seltzer water on my fingers." You would definitely win first and best in show. I remember having a dog kind of like you when I was little. I wanted to be one of the radio hosts for the dog show, but no. My associate Anders decided to undercut me with our bosses and take it anyways. I wanted to have that promotion, but no. And he's like petting the dog as he's rambling.
Is it a fourth dimensional dog show? You go to a lot of those?
Hey, Ellis.
Yes?
Ask it if it can get his horde to help with that moth. That's
Kind of like
gonna kill us. Like, just,
antenna.
like,
Little
pet the
pupper
dog,
dog.
make it happy.
I'm
good
going to call
dog.
you.
Please get your
gonna
horde
call
to
you
destroy
Taco.
that moth thing.
You and your friends. He adjusts a little bit more, trying to tune in on the frequency of the dog's language. Little dogs, could you possibly help us with the giant moth creature that came from the cave?
It would be nice to have assistance. I'd prefer we all make it through this.
Happy meaning you are, in fact, the
So the
You're
dogs,
the director. Yes.
the dog horde,
Mhm.
swarms, fractals swarm. They swarm. They destroy the moth.
But do they do it by
immediate-
forming like a mecha fractal Pomeranian where they all
Giant-
join
giant
like
fractal
it's
Voltron?
dog.
like those they like, yeah, I'm gonna date myself here, but it's like those old posters that were 3-dimensional that you saw at the mall.
Yes.
Magic eye posters? Is that what you're referring
A
to?
schooner is a sailboat.
Right, magic eye poster. You had to slowly cross your
Yes.
eyes ever so
And
slightly.
they just like the Pomeranians just take over them. They defeat the enemy, and
Is it juicy? Please, it's juicy, yes. It's gotta be juicy. I'm gonna do another scene at the theme park because I want one. I love this soundtrack. I don't know if you've noticed. It's light, spooky, but it's all theme park appropriate. Every now and then there's like this faint like organ music that plays in the background. I love it. But let's see here.
One's kind of obvious.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Yeah, So,
Meanie, you're muted.
Mr. Cohen.
I was just saying, let me cut it off.
Hi.
Let me cut it off.
Hi. So odd that you've managed to hide your mutation for this amount of time. Man, but it seems as though it would explain some key thing about your character that I'm going to foist upon you right now. Improv style. Boom. Yeah, no, you are the one harboring the dangerous mutation. But I don't control your character, so please explain it.
I think it's the matter of the fractals in Cohen's eyes are rapidly, increasing the rate at which they distort and morph. And the same pattern is starting to appear in his veins, though that starts from the hand he burned onwards. And it's barely noticeable at first, but the ground around his feet, only within a few inches, is distorting, becoming not necessarily fractal, but certainly more non-Euclidean.
I think that the chaplain is going to attempt to fix the problem by having the meat of his thumbs crack open into the beams of the similar purifying light and then sticking them into both of your fractal eye sockets.
That's not
That's
so
not
easy.
so easy.
Well, of course it's not. No, it can't be easy at all. Oh, all right, let's see here. No, and the zone mutates. Oh, how could it possibly? Oh my God!
You start seeing me as God.
So I light my thumbs up, right, and there are little eye gouging flares, right, and then suddenly stop mid-movement, like moving towards you, about to do it, and then go. What was that, my lord?
Excuse me?
Did you just...
As he sticks his thumbs into his ears, charring and perforating. They go first knuckle, second knuckle. Clearly, no longer going to be able to hear the voice of God. Yes. Tears to you. Tears of blood.
Self-harm
Blood
has been
and-
induced.
Chunks of charred tissue rolling out of each one of his ears as he pulls the thumbs out in that little vacuum of the seal they made.
Oh, Cohen is
Gross.
Frantically writing down the most flowery description of this, and as he does, he just simply goes, Doctor, you still think I am something that needs to be fixed? Our friend here just, well, for lack of a better term, microwaved himself, and you think he's fine.
It appears that he is slowly but surely becoming a Hot Pocket.
Crispy, crunchy, tender, flaky crust.
I'll give you credit for that one, King.
But
Thank you.
with that established, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to stick my white hot thumbs into my ear sockets.
It is now to the campfire.
So, beyond the campfire, dear viewer, is, well, when people start to die. It's been all safe up to this point, but pretty much, I mean, the zone starts picking people off here. So, before we go on our 10-minute mid-show break, this is when we resolve any unresolved character relationships. It might be the last chance, right? And we go around and share our theories about the nature of the zone itself, as best we still can, of course, given our various conditions at this state in the progress.
So the group sets up a very nice little fire outside the theme park, having, taken some branches and set up like a couple lean-tos, and it appears that Ellis has kind of like been standing on like a stump this time, and he has adjusted the antenna on his head to try and get a better signal. and he is, like, reciting the entire day's exploits to those who missed, the earlier showing. And he's like, it appears that the zone is capable of manifesting delusions of grandeur and religious trauma.
Cohen is off by his little lean-to. He takes a flask out of his pocket, and he just simply says, would anyone care for a drink? I've got enough here to share.
Oh, I would love some.
Me too.
All right.
I'll take sloppy seconds, please.
And what about you, Gabriel?
I am already in the throes of ecstasy, my child.
I do have a question. I want to discuss a theory with you in a minute, and, Cohen takes a moment to pass the flask around to everyone who wanted a drink.
Ah, whiskey. What year is this? I don't care.
It's actually, it's sake. It's more of my preferred taste.
Oh, the rice wine from the land of the rising sun.
If you want to put it that way.
And pie.
And then Cohen looks to, Gabriel. Excuse me, Reverend, if I may call you that.
Yeah, he turns around, and it's clear now that, he definitely cannot see. The one eye that had boiled and burst, right, is now dried. It's like a blackened and coagulated mess. And the other eye isn't milked over so much as it is anymore, solidified. You can tell that the milkiness has gone past the cataract and that there's a dry yellowness to the eye behind, almost as though
Alex.
it has become vestigial and something that the body is going to rid itself of shortly.
Or we can cut it out, Alex. Cut it out.
That's a good point, but
I think I can save him. I think I can save him.
I'm glad that we're all still alive, though I do agree that some of us may need more help than others. But, Mr. Gabriel, I wanted to discuss something with you for but a moment.
He's not going to be around.
Gabriel's
as you've
not
noticed,
here anymore.
We
then what
need
do
to
I
cut
call
this
you?
out. We need to
Then
cut
what shall I call you?
Gabriel's fine.
Cut it out.
Oh, very well then. My question was simply, notice how the doctor has experienced no changes. Meanwhile, the radio host is becoming, his work, apparently. And Cohen briefly looks down at the gradual, denormalization of the ground at his feet and his own fractal veins and everything. Notice how you're becoming something less than human, and meanwhile I'm a perfect representation of the fractals
human.
we've seen.
What are you talking about? Oh my god.
More than human.
No.
What I'm inferring is, out of all of us, I am the most stable manifestation of whatever is happening here.
Are you?
I haven't
Ellis
lost
has
my
pulled
body,
out a
have
microphone, and he is, holding it to Cohen's mouth.
Oh yeah, he's like, freaking.
Go on,
Microphone.
continue. It appears that the listeners are eating this up.
What I am here to imply is simply the fact that perhaps the more stable the form, the more true it is to its purity. This, and he gestures at Gabriel, is rampant manifestation of his faith. You could argue that this is a true reflection of his soul, that the fact all of his inner being is dedicated to God, his outer being is changing to reflect it.
Blessed
Doctor,
are
I
the
am
pure of
talking.
heart, for they shall see the face of God.
Can we mute him?
I wish there was a mute button, but apparently I figured out I
Yeah,
can
the
do it myself.
Pomeranians go after him, and
I don't like doing that. It really freaks me out.
I actually, before we go to bed, I would love to describe that sensation to me in vivid detail. This is for posterity, if you don't mind.
proceed.
What, me? Turning my voice
You.
off? I don't like it.
Yes. What does it feel like? The sensation.
Panic-inducing.
Details.
Panic-inducing, terrifying. I do not like it, because my voice is my work, and if I do not have my voice, I will no longer be able to work nor earn money in this society.
So banal in his descriptions.
How about you shut the fuck up, mister?
Gabriel coughs, and clearly a whole organ is,
That is disgusting.
comes out, tosses it down.
He literally coughs up a lung.
No longer required.
It appears he is mutating further than we can even be able to understand. He is no longer needing organs. He is degenerating at a fast pace.
Excellent. It is time to move on from the campfire to the hospital. And in this very next scene, one of our players will meet their untimely demise and be incorporated into the zone.
The zone. This is exciting. This is very exciting.
The rider must die in a coming scene. Yeah, that's what happens. That's the zone wants you. It's gonna take you, lad.
So, should we explain, like, both the fact that fate is what it is, but other people can steal fate?
Yeah, so he is destined to die in this scene, dear viewer. That being said, at any point now, or up until the very point he dies, any one of us can press the button and claim his fate. You can dramatically leap in front of the train, take the disembowelment if you like. You can steal the whole scene and be like, you know what, this is my out, I gotta go to bed. You know, whatever you want to do, right? But I'm not taking his fate. Hell no. I'm gonna win it tonight. God, what would winning it even look like for the chaplain at this point? But before we progress, we know the rider must die. And we're going to take a 10-minute break. So I hope you have enjoyed what you have seen so far. We will be back after 10 minutes to, kill Drew and progress further into the core. Thank you for watching so far. And we are back. Thank you for sticking with us through our 10-minute break while we powdered our noses and emptied our bladders. If you're new here to Lore, not only do we live stream The Zone, but alternating Tuesdays we do Wildermyth voiceover for now. It's just pretty much our open Performance Tuesdays. It includes members of our Discord community. That could include you. Why, just an exclamation mark Discord in the chat, which I will so graciously provide right now, would send you hurtling towards a community full of nerds that write and draw and animate and storytell and do music and play Final Fantasy XIV and other video games together. It's just a robust community of creatives and, well, degenerates. Yes. But
mostly degenerates.
Some of one, some of the other. 6 of one, half dozen of the other, I'll say. And then, of course, Nightbot comes in and Discords. But with that established, Friday Night D&D. You guys got to check out that. It's amazing. You haven't seen fully costumed, fully voice acted, fully realized D&D like this outside of a role that criticaled. It's phenomenal, and I don't just say that because I write and perform and direct and do all the assets for the show. It's because it's also it's neat. So tune in for that 7 p.m. Pacific on Friday nights. And of course our Deadlands show will be coming in September, and it's going to be riveting. That's all I'm going to say. Riveting. Yes, it'll be phenomenal. And featuring a half new cast, all new assets and productions, new theme song. Riveting. Have I said riveting? I think it's going to be riveting. You know what else is going to be riveting? Killing Drew Nelson here, as it is his turn to meet his fate. Now, when you die, you get to become director. You automatically take over the scene, because of course nobody's going to tell you how you die, right?
Of course.
Drew, if you would please meet your fate in the hospital that you will now choose, with some dignity, or not. I mean, it's up to you. You know, you can go out mewling like a babe, screaming as the night takes you.
So, the group, after a wonderful night of camping, well, wonderful is subjective because we have 3 different brands of crazy, and then the passion for the Christ over here. Passion for the chrysalis. Do I have that correct?
Yeah.
Anyways, continuing onwards, the group marches forward the next morning, approaching more residential areas. Having to, for one contrivance or another, take a quick detour through a Gothic institution, dozens of metal beds separated by moldy teal curtains. Side rooms host forgotten equipment, that which we see as we stalk its hallways, and occasionally there's the pop of a syringe or a vial as someone steps on some container for a strange drug that can never truly be identified and leaves an odd smell in the air, accompanied by the smell of iron, of course.
Looks like a Victorian-era hospital. Certainly has the equipment for it. Is that bloodletting equipment right there?
Oh, excessive amounts.
I think he's losing his mind. I mean, it's just a friggin' hospital.
And it's once we enter a fresh wing of the institution, the doors behind us slam shut, and they can be heard to lock from the other side. Cohen looks around nervously, clearly unsettled, and he does, mutter, "Never quite enjoyed the doctor's office."
Is that a jab, Cohen?
No, it's more, once upon a time...
An observation.
Mauled by a dog.
Is that a jab?
No, I was once mauled by a dog when I was a boy, and the, recovery process was fun. The stitches were agonizing. Though, again, another thing that you remember vividly, because pain is the greatest reminder that we are still human.
Speaking of dogs...
If you're still human.
I was about to say...
it's possible to transcend pain?
Bold
Mr. Cohen?
words.
You certainly remind me of the Cenobites from my favorite horror film.
I do recall saying that it was going to get all Clive Barker up in this bitch.
It was going to get all Clive Barker up in this bitch.
And I mean, his skin is sloughed off now, right? I mean, it's, in big ruddy sheets hanging in wet drapes all over him.
Anyways, lady and gentlemen, shall we move forward?
Of course. I do not quite like the smell of the rotting corpses that are possibly behind the walls.
Mary sees
That is
a
disgusting.
horde.
I do not want the free jerky from the chaplain.
Mary sees a horde of the fractal Pomeranians running. And as they bark, they shoot hooks out into his skin.
Oh yeah, I'm getting cenobited by the fractal Pomeranians. I don't think that's so easy.
It's not so easy, Fractal Pomeranians, or...
Yeah, or Mary, who
Mary
is
over
clearly controlling them with her mind goo this whole time. Go ahead, Mary. It's not so easy to make the fractal Pomeranians cenobite hook me. Let's get mutated, Doc. Let's get weird with it.
So Mary is gonna turn herself inside out.
No, click the not so easy card.
I gotta click it.
Click the fucking card!
Yes! I get hooked, but you get mutated in a shocking way. So I think that will fit your description. Yeah. Crystal hooks latching into what's left of my skin, pulling it off of me like a candy wrapper. My organs spilling out, my intestines, ruptures my abdominal cavity. Clearly don't need them anymore, though. Just muscle and skeleton standing there. The throbbing of my heart, the only remaining visible organ.
I also do not like the wet pinata.
But how does the surgeon mutate?
Yeah, how does the surgeon mutate from this? You just made the fractal dogs Cenobite hook me, and they've ripped all my skin off and disemboweled me. Now I'm standing there all double naked.
All run into the surgeon. Like a tornado, like a hurricane. They're all swirling, and they overcome.
Are they still carrying my meat curtains?
No, they dropped those like 2 blocks away, man.
Okay, I was just making sure.
No, they're just like climbing in, and she becomes a fractal, metal, weird being.
Would they like? How do they enter you? I need more.
They just came in. I don't know. They swarmed
like a wrecking ball.
Like a tornado.
Like a tornado. A swirling tornado of fractal Pomeranian creatures with mouths full of rows of teeth.
Sharknado, Pomeranian.
It's a Pomeraniado. Pomeraniado. There it is. Pomeraniado. Bin it. Done. So you're surrounded by this Pomeraniado. It settles. And now give us your description there. You're fractal. Are you crystalline kind of like them? Or are you shimmering in 4 dimensions? Ineffable?
I'm crystalline. 4 dimensions. Ineffable. Which is very weird to me because I've only known like the things that I can do with my hands. So this is new. What is this?
I once watched a YouTube video that explained the 4th dimension to me, right? Using models that it would allow things to slide in the 4th dimension from the 3rd dimension to show you what it would look like. Okay. And you can't see it because we don't perceive the 4th dimension.
No,
I just could never wrap my head. I watched it like 5 times. Just things go 4D. I go, I don't fucking get it. All right.
Anyways.
Yeah, doctor. Or writer.
Writer. Yes, moving forwards. Eventually with the hallways twisting and turning in ways that really shouldn't be possible. Finally, everything comes to a singular heavy double door. It looks electronically locked, and sitting next to it, plugged in, is a tank with what looks like the kind of tubing you'd see attached to an IV, attached to the side of the door. And Cohen sizes this up. What an odd mechanism. Any of you theories?
Let me take a closer look at this. And he kind of picks it up, And is it like is the like the describe how it is inserting into the door? Is it like a tube, IV tube, just dangling from it?
It's as if the tank attached to the door, right? There's a tank attached to the door. It's plugged into the electronical lock, like the mechanical locks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the tubes themselves, the needles at the end are deeply blood-stained, and there's a little bit of blood in the bottom of the canister.
I do not like the implications of this device. It appears that one of us is going to have to donate some blood in order for us to pass through this door.
Give it here, you idiot. He
Cannot
swipes it.
be, man.
It appears that we have a suicidal man aside from the Reverend.
Be
Shut
alert.
the fuck up, King. Shut the fuck up for 5 seconds, King.
And of a sober mind.
I cannot shut up, therefore this is my life.
Listen, I'm used to a lot of things. And if I have to crush your windpipe, it would not be the first time I've had to do such a thing. So,
I am being threatened with homicide once again. How many times has this been? Probably 5. I have not been counting.
in the spirit of helping an expedition, I shall donate enough to get the door open, and then we'll all proceed and finish the job, okay? I'm sure there's much, much, much more to experience, and I will say, self-inflicted blood loss, this is not a sensation I'm familiar with.
Wait,
And
did
as...
you say donate enough?
It appears that the door will only open if the canister is filled to a certain point.
It's
Really?
very Tim
Really?
Burton of the door, but
Sounds more like Jaws.
sounds like a lot of things.
It sounds
as-
like Providence.
And as Cohen pulls his sleeve back, he's about to insert the needle. It suddenly springs to life like a snake and plunges straight into his throat.
For the flesh sets its desire against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. For these are in opposition to one another, so that you may not do the things that you please.
The entire time that monologue is happening, the tank is filling with blood quicker and quicker and quicker. The blood inside sloshes in fractal patterns as Cohen chokes and dies and goes completely limp.
Boom. Cohen has been drained by the door sealing the passage forward into the zone, and
And
his
the door
withered
opens.
husk slides to the side as the doors swing open. Happy Meanie.
I hate to break the mood, but this is where it gets so fucked up and it's so good.
It really, yeah,
Mhm.
no.
Kudos to
Yeah.
the designer, because here is where it just...
It gets macabre.
It really
yeah,
starts to get
it does.
yeah, no.
It's so brilliant.
The setup, it gets wackier
We're
and
not
wackier
worthy,
in the
We're not
setup.
worthy.
And
so
then the
good.
second after the campfire, right, everybody starts to take it like it's death time, right? Like it
Yeah,
changes the whole tone.
And this
I
is-
would love
this
to
is
see a game of
extra.
the zone played straight from the first moment of not really going
Right.
for heavy comedy.
Mhm. I can't help it.
Because the comic relief happens early on, because that's just fun. Oh yeah, it's
Well, it
the
helps you
weird.
cope with how fucked up it is.
Yeah, I mean, you
Because
literally,
it's
I've
so
been
brilliantly
degloved.
fucked up that
You're
like,
fucking
I
drained
feel
dry.
like-
Happy Meanie is half electronic, right? The doctor here is a fractaline fourth dimensional entity obsessed with vivisecting people. I mean, it's not exactly, Disney. Disney's not going to pick this one up, guys. I hate to break it.
HBO
Possibly
might.
go wrong.
HBO might pick. Well, I mean, with that
Maybe
opening,
not.
Yeah,
too,
and then
am
they'll
I right?
ruin it in 3 seasons, and they'll be the
Right,
whole
no,
thing,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
for sure.
Nobody
All
wants
right,
that. All right,
Happy
let's
Meanies.
go.
Next turn, are we moving to the village?
Man. I would love to go to the village, but hey,
We could
a
also poke his
surgeon.
body a little more. I mean, that
have
doesn't
an
make sense. Yeah.
obsession with the hospital.
Not sponsored by Topo Chico. It could be Topo Chico. Get
It'd
at
be
me.
a great
Oh,
opportunity.
no. Voss, sparkling water, Voss. Anyway.
Generic drinking water.
Lemonade.
Oh, encountered a vision of something that used to be here.
Oh, I love that. Oh, Happy Meanie.
I
cool.
think I've stayed in a hospital.
Push through the
They've been
doors,
really,
more
really,
hospital.
really really, really bad idea.
Is his withered husk still, like, hooked up to the IV? Does his body
Withered
get
husk is
dragged
like
all
2
super
scenes
light?
behind, man. Like Act 1.
I like to imagine, if I may, the withered husk of Cohen as, like, you looked away, you looked back, and there's just more of the the cables and whatnot just plugged into, like, the base of his hands, at his elbows, his
Every
shoulders,
one of his
lower
fingertips
back.
just good to the last drop, sucking out all your capillaries. Yeah.
Almost like he's strung
It's
up like a
disgusting.
weird flesh puppet.
It's disgusting.
Well, it's supposed to be.
Macabre medical flesh puppet.
How do I get to you?
Oh, his body's just dead. But what is the vision that you encounter of something that used to be here? Happy meaning.
Well, I mean, it was a dog. It wasn't a Pomeranian. It was a Great Dane. It was my best friend.
Your best friend, Great Dane, used to be here in this very same hospital?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It was one of those, like, emotional support and health support animals. It was the first of its kind, because they were all, usually they're small, easy to get in and out, but
Are you implying right now that you previously worked at this very same hospital at one point? Because if you have
volunteering
visions...
is not working, Will.
Okay, I was just clarifying for my own narrative. A cogency.
Will, stop backseat directing.
I'm not. I needed to know if that's what she said. My dog used to be here. I need to know.
Yeah, I didn't work here, but my dog
She
did.
used to be here, because that has some pretty...
I
The last time we
maybe
played
did.
this game, she fucking flipped the script on us, so I'm just trying to keep it...
You get inside me's brain, you get,
I don't want this M. Night
little-
Shyamalan shit again. I need to know. I need to read it.
No, I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you.
Okay,
All right.
yeah. Okay, I forgot what I was talking about. Where are we?
Great Dane. You see a vision of your Great Dane that used to be here as an emotional support dog in this very hospital. What makes the thing that used to be here so surprising?
Guard. Oh. That. I have to keep pushing for the corporation. There's so much more I can do with my hands. There's so much more. This party expedition. They failed me. They don't listen to me when I tell them they need my help. I can help them. I could have gotten them out of there sooner or later. And
The chaplain finds that an unfair assessment. He literally let you deglove him with an army of fractal Pomeranians and hooks and chains.
It was too late. It was
And it
too
wasn't
late.
even,
I asked
like-
you before. I asked you
He
before.
didn't even have
It
a
was
problem
too
with
late.
that. He was just like,
was
yeah, that's
too
how it works
late.
here. Oh, deglove me. Yeah.
You didn't ask him when it happened. When he first got, blood-mouthed and everything, you were just there like, Cohen, I gotta fix your eyes. While,
Right.
the chaplain was like, I have beheld the Lord. It is all right, children.
I think happy meaning that it is not so easy to just get a pleasant visage of your beloved Great Dane
not.
in this scenario. No. So please hit
not.
the not so easy card and let's see what the zone thinks about that. No, you do not see your Great Dane, beloved friendship animal from earlier here when you volunteered, and the zone both mutates you and the obstacle, escalating the conflict. So please, how are you mutated further as a fourth dimensional fractal entity of ineffable, incomprehensible geometrical oscillations? Yeah.
Non-Euclidean.
Non-Euclidean oscillations of a undulating variety, a veritable cornucopia of unfathomable movements throughout this reality and the next, and a coexisting dimensional parallax that... No, I mean, how are you mutating? She just mutes back into a normal person. Bloop! Oh, what?
No, she just
What would those be? Would those be fractories? What would you... I might actually draw fourth dimensional fractal furry porn. I could get into that. Just two weird geometric shapes next to each other. I'd be like, that one's a blowy. It's my wife, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Just what the fuck did I just walk in on?
I can't even explain that one. I don't even know. Yeah.
There's no explanation.
There's no simple lead-in. There's no elevator pitch for
we're
fourth-dimensional, non-Euclidean fractal porn blowjobs. That's just, it's on another level.
Oh my.
So Meanie,
Oh,
please.
that's right. You really stroked my infinite circumference.
Hi, I signed up for a job here. Am I interviewing with you? Because this is weird. Why am I here? What happened?
You meet a creature that knows one of you. Oh my god. Which one does she know? She certainly couldn't know me at this point. I mean, I have literally been degloved. I am a meat skeleton just hovering across the floor. Just, aww. Yeah. All Christ pose for sure. I'm T-posing everywhere at this point. We've really elevated the real subtle imagery.
All right.
There's a wall in the way.
Gabriel. Gabriel, what do you know about this creature? I mean,
What do I know about this creature?
You know the creature?
I
You're
know
practically a flayed man at this point.
the creature. Of course I know the creature, right? Do you not recognize the remains of wait,
Oops, sorry. My bad.
Something's not right. Is something not right? Who is something not right? Because I didn't click that. Somebody needs something not right if they something not right.
I clicked something not right.
Oh, are you going to say something? What?
I'm saying something not right about your story.
Well, I didn't even start the story.
You started the story.
Those are gameplay mechanics.
Right.
Those are entirely distinct from the narrative implications here. I was trying to describe the fact that, of course, I understand, know the creature, right? Because what has approached is now the withered, jerky skeleton, right? Of the writer Alexander Cohen, right? Like, who has also now touched the face of God, right? And although he's been absorbed into the zone, right? His body is being meat puppeted by whatever there. And we're just we're standing there, like, staring at each other from a couple of feet apart, all, you know, I'm a wet, glistening red meat skeleton. He's a desiccated, mummified jerky man. And we seem to be communing with one another.
That's not so easy. If you're so wet and he's so dry.
I don't communicate with him. In fact, I try and reach out and speak the forbidden tongue of God or whatever, right? And instead of that, the zone says, no, you ain't gonna pull that shit on us. And it mutates me, creating a much more serious problem, which must be immediately dealt with. Yes, and instead of coming out to speak to me, he reaches out now, and his fingers are rakish claws, right? And they reach onto either side of my face, right? And they pull off my jawbone, which comes away, right? With, like, there's the dislocating, right? The crack of the bone giving way from its socket, right? And then the snapping sound of the individual elements of meat and tendon and viscera as they're pulled off there. And my tongue then hangs just dangling, empty in a socket, like a dead eel, just flopping about in the cavernous hole that has now been made of the ragged remains of my throat.
It appears we are now in the Eldritch monstrosity wing of this hospital. I am going to possibly attempt to use the radio signals that are in my brain to cause this creature to explode.
Oh, that's not so easy. I mean, what? You know, try and all of a sudden you have brain bullets? No, yeah. Oh, but it does give you an unexpected ability in your failure.
I know what it is. So I tried to do something. He tries to, announce all this while he's trying to, see if he can, do something with these antennas rather than just tune into people's, brains and stuff. And he's like focusing so hard that he starts to kind of like he's glitching, like you know the static that old TVs do when there's no signal.
Yeah.
He's
Just
doing
TV
that.
Please don't call them old. Just TV will work.
It's the tube TVs,
Just,
the not flat screens.
Oh my... I'm 18 and you're making me feel old.
Are you guys
Black
still in
screens.
Pancake Land?
Pancake land.
Pancake, like flat, like get into the VR. The
Oh,
3D.
that's true. She's in 4D. She doesn't even understand. Like, she can comprehend realities beyond human perception if she's
But
four-dimensional.
hang on, what's King's new ability? Like, what's
Yeah,
King's new
what is your new ability?
His new ability is he's basically a radio wave digital ghost. He
So-
can't. It's
One of
hard
us
to-
is made of static. One of us is a fourth-dimensional crystalline fractals. And one of us is a meat skeleton right now. I just want to make sure I'm following the script.
Yes.
If
Okay.
the zone may.
Yeah, the zone may.
If I
Potentially.
may.
Yeah.
As the zone. I would like to say that most certainly I feel it's only rational that with this failed attack, Cohen's jerky puppet is still lunging for, King, and, like, those nails, like those clawish nails, like, drip with blood red spectral ink.
Oh, that's
Can,
cool.
can the zone pull not so easies? Like,
I believe the zone can pull not so easies, yeah.
can, I feel like that's not so easy because jerky puppet, like,
Well, now, the zone can't not so easy the zone. No.
that is true. Like,
Yeah.
that's the weird thing because like the zone.
Yeah, the zone can't not so easy the zone.
No.
I
Exactly.
don't know. Can
Yeah.
the zone not so easy the zone?
The zone can't, well, because the zone can't have not so easy cards built up
We
at
have
the end, so.
the audience
The zone
can
can't
answer
be
that.
the target.
And the zone not so easy the
Well, the
zone.
zone can't be the target of a not so easy because it's a gameplay mechanic, and the zone isn't subject to said gameplay mechanic.
True.
As the
True,
grand
that is
poobah
very
of
true.
lore, I'm gonna decisively no.
I just
Even though
had
that
the
might not be
weirdest-
accurate,
Because for all we know, we could hit the not so easy button, and then I,
mean,
can
like,
still
this
hit the
could-
draw
this
button, which would be
discussion
fucking
could go on
weird.
for hours. So
It
Mhm.
would feel
Yeah.
weird to do that.
We've met a creature that one of us knows. I knew it, right? And then it
Who wants to kill
wasn't
it?
so easy because it was, it was Gumbus, and he was coming to rip my face off, and now he's coming towards the doctor, so we need to solve that situation. And I am going to try and solve it by opening my mouth and speaking for the first time in the voice of God. And, by opening
so
my
easy.
mouth, I mean, my vocal cords kind of in the bottom there as my tongue flaps and undulates. Yeah, probably not so easy. Yeah. Speaking in the voice of God cannot be a simple
Oh, yeah.
task. But yes, and the voice mutates me and granting me a powerful gift the others simply wouldn't understand. Well, I mean, look at that right on the nose. Boop, speaks in the voice of God despite not having a mouth to speak of, really. Yeah, and the Drew's corpse, right, gets lit up and cracks like a dry riverbed before it explodes into, more fractals, because everything's been fractal. It's fractal all the way down, baby. Fractaline dust that then gets inhaled. You can't notice that it shimmers ever so slightly on the inhalation. Yeah. Everybody breathes in a little bit of Drew.
It
Happy
appears
meaning.
that
Hi.
the Reverend has Fussrodad, the meat puppet man.
Da, 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 da,
So- You've all seen it. You've all seen the creature. Gabriel.
I fear that
Gabriel.
this man will not last much
Yeah.
longer unless it is sheer spite that is keeping him from going.
Right, Ellis.
I, the Lord.
Ellis,
Yes, madam.
how are you tied to this thing? You're tied to it. It wouldn't have followed us this far if you were not connected to it. I need to know how. Tell us how.
Reiterate what you are talking about, my dear. I don't understand why. I am merely an observer telling a story
You're
to my
not an
listeners.
observer. You are connected to this thing. You've been connected to this thing. You were connected to this thing before we got drawn into this stupid bullshit expedition. There's no expedition. You're connected to this thing. Tell us how. Well, Gabriel's dying.
He looks fine to
given
me
up.
if he is still standing.
Pull your
If
head
you
out
think
of
there
your
is
ass.
something wrong
Come
with
on,
him, you can do
Ellis.
something yourself, madam. You are a doctor, are you not? Perhaps you can even save this man from the degenerative state that he is currently in. Uh-oh.
No. What are we doing? What did somebody accidentally call that or intentionally call that?
I accidentally called it.
All right, are we ending the scene?
Ending the scene with an argument.
Excellent. Oh shit, my turn. Here we go. We are moving on to the village, which means we will be claiming another life.
soul.
Ah, the chaplain. I mean,
No! It was inevitable. Yeah.
I don't know. I think everybody wants to see the guy just
Absolutely.
as a, red
Let him
glistening
stay
meat
alive.
puppet.
I
Just.
need him.
I mean, I'm going to attempt to accept my fate. Bear in mind that anybody here, of course, can, by all means, should they choose to intercede at any point. I wouldn't. I mean, God, put me down, guys. Put me down.
This is
let him
currently the same lineup of deaths that happened last time.
Yes, except for I didn't fire a gun in the air in desperation in the earlier scene, so this one's gonna be interesting. We are entering the village, leaving the debris of the hospital behind. We come across the community on the far side. Rural hospital on the edge of what began to be looking like a development that was going to be put in before the zone ensconced the whole area with its high strangeness. Right, we wander through the boarded up buildings of the charred and devastated remains of the outskirts here. Bits of fire still resonating in areas. It's uncertain, of course, what caused the utter devastation. Thank you, Veiled Majority. But it is clear that the place has been subject to an uncontrolled burn for some time, as most of the fuel that would fire such a blaze has already been expended, and it is predominantly the charred remnants of the buildings that remain standing like skeletal and blackened husks against the gathering light of the early morning, right? The air is thick with the black acrid smoke of old burning. I don't know if any of you have ever been around an old house fire, but the melting plastics and the roof tiles, there's a smell that lingers, especially when it's fresh here. You can see in the layer of ash that the people that were here when the blaze began didn't die people, strictly speaking. They're charred and twisted remains sporting extra tiny primordial limbs. Skulls distended with long angular jaws and eye sockets too wide for human eyes. Rictus of grief and agony borne witness on most of their faces. They were clearly overcome by the fire and died painfully.
Dogs. They were all dogs. They were all those little weird Pomeranian fractal dogs. They're not even real animals.
I thought they were Great Danes.
We had Pomeranians.
She's seeing in a whole other dimension at this point, so I mean, no, these are blackened human remains that have been twisted and mutated, but she thinks they're fractal dogs. Because again, maybe they are because she is in the fourth dimension. Maybe she's seeing things outside human perception, Like, stop trying to put her in a box, man. Like, well, maybe they are Pomeranians.
I'm just trying to cut to the core.
No, but the chaplain looks at you all, right? And were he capable of tears in the blackened sockets that remain in his eyes, he would certainly be crying. I mean, even though the skin has been removed from his face, you can see in the raw red musculature underneath that his face is clenched in sorrow, right? He reaches out towards you all and says, before falling in the ash, still and unmoving. What were his last thoughts? We'll never know, will we? Boom. Yeah. Because he dead. And he didn't have a mouth anymore from which you could understand because he could only speak with the voice of God. So he had something really profound there in the end. He turned to you, clearly saddened by the spectacle of the devastation, with some new insight into the zone and perhaps the depth of eternity itself, but could only express it with,
May I try and translate for the Lord?
oh, hell no. No, I want that unspoken. I want that to be in the eye of the beholder. Audience, what do you think the chaplain was trying to convey? Type it out as Nukes takes over as director.
Let's do another scene in the village.
Well, there's only 2 obsessions left, so...
Okay. So, Ellis kind of is a bit speechless at the sight of the Reverend just keeling over dead suddenly after all of the torment and torture that his body has gone through, and he just kind of goes, "It appears for once in my life I am speechless and unable to describe the viscera that is before me. The Reverend has passed away unexpectedly after enduring so much trauma that a normal man should have died by the time his jaw was wrenched from his body or turned into a meat piñata. But we must carry on. Let us go, my dear doctor. Onwards." And,
Something's not right.
Oh no.
The good Reverend's corpse,
Chaplain.
undulates slightly. Sorry, the good chaplain's corpse undulates slightly as, small little moths break their way through the meat.
Oh no!
And it's worse than that, because each one of them clearly exhibits a proboscis as well, except for in this larval, undeveloped state, instead of being large enough to shove something down a man's throat, each one is sharp and wicked as a hypodermic needle. And they all begin to flutter and take chaotic flight, sprouting from the many holes erupting in the flesh of his back.
We gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go.
We are now being chased by the Reverend's oviposited children by the crystalline creature that was in the first cave.
Go.
You guys are gonna try and flee?
Yeah. I'm gonna try and run and take a... Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, oh yeah, no, yeah, I mean, I'm not, no, that's not easy.
No.
Yes, but the zone mutates you, creating a much more serious challenge, and I plan on clicking that again for Happy Meanie, by the way, so let's just get that sorted. I'm not making it now. No, the zone wants what the zone wants.
These are now skill checks.
Mutates me because I'm trying to run away from a much more serious challenge. I'm currently Static Man. Okay, I got it. The much more serious challenge. So basically, what happens is, Ellis is booking it, jumping over some, poor, desiccated corpse, and, seems to begin, like, this weird lag, like he's continuing to speak, but it's more of a, it appears that I am suffering some connection issues. And it's like he's like the jittering lag that you get as he's trying to move forward, but he's still making a decent amount of distance, but it's like he's being set back maybe 2 or 3 feet for every 10 that he gets.
Connection issues to this plane of reality now as you begin to nah. That'd make it that sucks. Ew. I don't like that. I don't like that as a sensation. Actually,
did the doctor
lagging.
pull their not so easy?
Excuse me, Happy Meanie, if you would be so kind, we have declared a not so easy. If you would pull the card for us and see if you are able to escape so easily from the needle moths. Click the card. Click the card. No!
No!
And the zone mutates everybody in the expedition. So, I mean, the needle moths catch you, please. What do they do to you, and how does it hurt?
They feel weird. They feel weird. That's like when there's static in your clothes. You get electrocuted all over your face. They're all over my face, and I feel the static like zipping. And I wake up. No.
Wake
up.
No, you don't. Oh no, you're caught by needle moths. There, you want to wake up. You are not only caught by needle moths, but they are mutating you somehow, which is weird because you were a fourth dimensional fractal being of like energy when they caught you. And then they use their little needle proboscis to do something to that energy, to mutate it.
They mutate it into clay.
You turn
Weird,
into
malleable flesh.
So where
Weird,
the needle moths like land on you, you go from like an incorporeal being of fourth dimensional energy to again physical, but instead of like
mud, like the beginning, the mud.
I mean, there are hundreds of them.
Shatters.
So are you like mostly mud at this point?
Shatters, yeah. I am mud. I am.
I too like less Claypool.
I also mutate.
Yeah, how does it mutate? I mean, so they have hit her and turned her into mud. What are they doing to you?
Less than mud, man.
Less than mud.
Because it doesn't catch me, it catches her, but I get mutated as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I got away.
You did get away, yeah.
This is a
Maybe
hard
it's just it could be just a progression of what's already happening to you, right? Shit. You already on lag streak. Oh shit, maybe you're like, maybe you're pinging at like 900 now.
I'm no clipping at this point.
Right?
I'm no clipping at this point.
Nice.
I love it.
Like, I'll be lagging so bad that I go through a building.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Oh, do not stop lagging halfway through a building, unless, of course, it's your scene to die next. So, guys, what are we ending the scene, Nukes? What's going on?
Yes, we're ending the scene. I was just laughing.
There we go.
My character is buffering now, sis.
It's Gumbus's next turn. Oh, yeah.
Zone's turn, and I'm going to say, I feel like escaping from the village. I'm going to say we move to the farm because I personally want to see some death.
Yeah. And Ellis King again.
Really? The exact same order as last
Literally
time.
The
Wow.
exact same
I don't
order,
want to
yeah.
die.
Excellent. We find ourselves in a forest.
Go forth, Nukes,
Headed
direct tour.
to a farm. Does that mean it's time for the meat dungeon again?
Please no.
I specifically picked a not meat dungeon.
Nobody loves the meat dungeon like I do. I don't get it.
I enjoy the meat dungeon. Not today.
There we go. Sophisticated operation.
Why?
Greenhouses, hydroponics, and a sophisticated operation, growing varietals that should not be biologically possible.
Am I here?
You are so indecisive, Nuke.
I am very indecisive right now.
Traits.
In fairness, we do have 2 people here who are both forever GMs. So for both of us, I bet we're just sitting here like, well, it could go this way, or I would personally do it this way.
Yeah, I have to really restrain myself in the zone, I find, but it is for the best of the game, definitely.
This is where I'd put the cactus dungeon, personally.
Cactus dungeon?
No, it needs a water level.
No, ice level.
Alright. Oh.
This is our Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Let's see. We go from the village, and like near the village, it appears that there was a farm, obviously right next to the village. But for some reason, it's a lot more sophisticated than what it should look like, considering how the village looked and how the greenhouses look. And it appears that the destruction that befell the village did not harm the farm in any way. The two go, the writer and the surgeon head into one of the greenhouses to get away from the needle moths that have been assaulting us this entire time. I'm still glitching, but I managed to glitch my way through the wall of the greenhouse, and he kind of like stands there, and like when he's turning, it's like a turn, and before he finally is able to turn around and see the surgeon run through the door and close it.
Ellis, what's happening?
I am not sure, my dear madam.
Ellis, are you still in there, Ellis?
I am quite well, my dear. It appears that my connection to this corporeal plane is buffering.
Do I need to grab the antenna on top of the TV, straighten you out a little bit there, buddy?
Oh, don't even act like you know how to do that. You.
I actually do.
Just
My
do it.
God. So young.
Nukes or Ellis. You're sending out too many signals.
I am currently trying to cut down on said signals.
Let me
but it seems to be
cut them off.
Oh, you mean like that?
Just let me cut them off.
And you see,
we'll slow everything
you see
down.
Alex kinda, like,
You'll be able to like.
There's like a static between his two, like his appendage before it kind of zips back on. And it's like, let us continue forward.
Is there an I need an assistance card? This is not so easy for you to get away.
Can't do that to me.
It's not so easy to get away.
No, but your failure brings you
Ellis.
closer to
Do
another
something
character.
For me.
Oh shit, that's actually narratively quite apropos.
Well, that's
Stop killing
funky. I
me.
like it.
But
So how do you guys get closer? What do you just kind of scissor or something as two beings of energy and mud?
Yeah, you wish.
And that one's a blowy.
That was full
indefinite
circle.
circumference. He kind of like goes to move forward and he kind of like steps on something and he kind of goes, I hope that is not a severed limb that is on my foot. My foot is currently stepping on it multiple times. I am currently trying to stop it.
But separate limb? What the fuck are you talking about?
He kind of like manages to look around and is like, it appears that a dangerous anomaly, I would say it is a gigantic piranha plant, is currently eating one of the desiccated corpses that managed to get into here for safety.
So inside the botanical lab, there's a giant piranha plant, like Little Shop of Horrors.
Which
Yeah.
does not make this, something's not right.
Yeah, well, what's not right? So, I would say, just as an outside observer, that something wasn't right the second you guys fucking walked into the botanical lab and there was a piranha plant munching on a corpse. How exactly is this escalated? What's not right about it, Not Happy Meanie?
Why is there a piranha plant in my greenhouse? My greenhouse.
Your greenhouse.
Your greenhouse?
Your greenhouse? What a twist!
What a twist!
And
the Shyamalan shit again!
It's-
No!
It's worse than that, because the piranha plant slurps down the corpse and then turns to look at Dr. Mary Surum and goes, "Feed me, Surum."
Got it.
Fucking hell.
Wait, what do I do now? Where am I?
Well, I mean, now it's up to Nukes to
Oh, no,
decide
it's
what
Nuke.
to happen
Okay,
here.
I thought
The
it was
piranha
you.
plant
I'm
turned to look at you,
Sorry.
finished eating the corpse, and then clearly knows you. It's like, what's up? Give me more food.
He kind of like is like lagging a bit as he's looking for a way to get away, and he kind of like sees the doctor, sees the plant, and he sees a like it looks like an electronical board that seems to like control the greenhouse temperatures, like a main hub computer. And he kind of looks at it and goes, "It appears only what
Don't
one
you
of us.
dare! Don't you dare!
I'm not going to kill
Don't
you, my dear."
You dare touch that! You step away.
Make me. You can't touch me. And he
Step
goes to
away.
It's not so easy.
Tap it. Oh no, I'm letting her tap it. Hell.
That's not so easy now.
Ah, she does tap it, and the zone mutates you in a helpful way right before your death scene. Interesting.
Listen, I remember this Resident Evil boss. You do the plant killer method. It's quite easy.
like there's a surge of electrical energy as he like shoves his hand through the panel, and he's like, this is quite interesting. It appears I am and he kind of like fizzles out and of existence, and he's kind of like his face kind of shows up on the monitor, and he's like, it appears I'm stuck in here now. Well, at least I can do this. And there's weed killer on a nozzle that comes down and just starts spraying it on the piranha plant. It appears I'm stuck in here now. Please go ahead.
Stuck in your lab. And your own botany lab. We have now killed Ellis King, leaving the surgeon on for the next scene. Happy Meanie. I'm going to claim Happy Meanie's turn. I want it. I'm breaking the term order.
Do it, Will. Hit the button. Hit the button. Hell yeah!
I'm moving us to the apartment because I want to see it through. I want to punish her for having secretly been in with the zone the whole time. That's how I feel right now. As a player, she just did the reveal. She volunteered at the hospital. She had a relationship with the carnivorous plant. I mean, come on. Anybody that has this crossing the
Mindy
special
for the
barrier
corporation.
like that, yeah, the corporation
Oh.
in
And Will, like, bring us in home with that Clive Barker shit, my guy.
I don't know what you're should I go meat dungeon? Is that what you're saying? Do we need meat
No,
dungeon?
we're not meat dungeon.
I mean, but
No, we do
you
not.
know I'm in with the
We do
corporation.
not need
like
the
that
meat
was
dungeon.
revealed.
We do not need the meat dungeon quite yet.
We want a different dungeon.
Are you sure we don't need the meat dungeon?
We want a different dungeon.
I mean, I am the
Cinnabite
director.
dungeon.
It could be.
Meat
it could be the
dungeons
meat
for
dungeon.
Saturdays. It's Tuesday.
That's
we
true,
need a different
that's true.
dungeon.
Well, I mean, maybe. You don't know that definitively. I have a second meat dungeon. This one's a sinister meat dungeon.
Ooh.
Yeah. Not that there's a non-sinister
This meat dungeon's
dungeon.
well done.
Oh
It is,
no!
yeah.
Medium rare, please and thank
No,
you.
There we go. Yeah, so I am going to say that as you progress on from the rural farm, it's like an entirely... I have a meat dungeon soundboard. It makes fart noises, and it's very wet and meaty. And our last trip to the zone featured it quite a bit. It was
a good meat dungeon.
there was a lot of meat in that dungeon. But it seems as though as you come across the apartment complexes, that they are brutalist in their architecture. The trees have changed here. There are low rows of concrete structures with severe, sharp edges. The signs on the roadside are no longer in English, but rather Cyrillic and rusted and faded, as though the Russian had been painted on them long ago. The quaking aspen pines have a strange reddish hue, as though the life had been leached out of them by exposure to some foul ambient miasma that lingers in the air, giving you an uneasy feeling. When walking up the broken blacktop road, overgrown with dead ruts of grass sticking up accusatorily from the cracks in the pavement, comes the corpse of the chaplain, still very meaty and desiccated, right, dragging one of his legs uselessly behind him, his skeletal silhouette posing a menacing figure, backlit by the now lowering sunlight. It's a strange apparition at first, shimmering like a mirage on the horizon of a hot day, but then coming into a gruesome focus, all true, clear, and resonant in front of you. You can smell the meat hanging off of him, the wet, coppery bit of the blood in the air as he approaches you, finger raised. You can tell that his throat begins to gurgle, and he speaks at you now clearly in the voice of God itself. It's time to meet your destiny, child.
No, Gabriel. Gabriel.
Ecstasy
I
awaits
know
you.
it's you. Gabriel, I know you're in there.
Gabriel isn't here anymore, Doctor. Only destiny.
Gabriel?
Hey,
Gabriel,
it falls
I know you're
again into the road. Its constituent parts falling apart as though they had decayed rapidly. A writhing mass of maggots spilling out of the lengths of meat as they hit the pavement. Some of them spattering on your shoes as you are bidden forward to the center.
Yeah, there was no way I could get in on that. Like, I literally, like, I just wanted to see what you would do. This is too much fun.
Let us move to the center.
Dr. Mary, twice now. She's played the game twice. She's won twice now. So, this is kind of an interesting mechanic that I love here. All the people that have died, right, are of course now part of the zone's consciousness, a manifestation of its very psyche, right? Its most innate desire, right? And given a few factors, how we feel about the character we played with, right? How we feel the zone should feel, right? How it's represented are all decided here and used to push forward the narrative to see in just what way Dr. Mary Serum's obsession will be rewarded. So in this final stretch of the game, we're going to define the center, the surgeon's final wish, and everybody else will decide what the zone does with that wish using their not-so-easy cards. Happy Meanie, if you will please move to the center. What is the center, Happy Meanie? Is it staggering beauty, incomprehensible horror?
Also, don't forget that after describing the center, there is the short flashback about your obsession.
That's
We
true.
didn't do that, Matt.
Mm-hmm. She keeps clicking that button. She's like, no, don't.
Next, finish.
So, what is the center, and what is the flashback about your obsession?
The problem is there is no center.
There is no center?
We didn't get there. I'm a hands-on person. I don't understand what's happened. I'm completely lost in this turn of events. I mean, I got assigned to this crackpot crew of writers and creatives because they're of value. The corporation needs their feedback. So we put them through the paces. We push them all the way through. Got assigned to them. They wouldn't listen to me. Could have removed every mutation at every pass. All the way along. I told them. I asked them to help me. They refused.
So there is no center then?
There is no center. This is just
The center is an absence of center?
the simulation.
How would you describe it? You would describe this as a
Practical.
simulation.
The simulation. Yeah. We put people through the ranks. We push them through. We're trying
Wait-
to create a product.
Okay, this is a simulation. Excellent. It's a virtual environment we have been subjected to, which has gone haywire.
You're just like one of like thousands, tens of thousands. Of the
Please.
corporation.
Well, that would make a ton of sense, actually. That ties a bow on all this fractal shit and the weirdness. Tell me, what is the flashback regarding your obsession? I don't even know how to score the lack of a center, guys. I have all kinds of soundtracks here. I'm like,
I don't know.
There's so much that I can do.
Dead
with my
silence?
hands.
right, yeah, a
There's
lack of a
so
score.
much. There's so much I can do with my hands. The corporation has put me into so many projects, so many things. I've been able to alter all kinds of things, which allows the simulations to happen, which brings more people in to make the product better. It's all for the corporation.
So, now you just have to unplug the headset? Or turn off the simulation? Is that how we leave your job's done? You ran people through the test batch? Is that what you're saying? Is that what I'm gathering here?
Just another Monday afternoon.
Just another Monday afternoon at the office. Your final wish, Happy Meanie.
Do I do that? Oh,
Alright, just type it out. Or we can look at your character sheet, either or. Let's see your character sheet. Oh, we can do both here. I'm the only one seeing this. Your obsession, full potential. There's so much more you can do with your hands. Oh, stacks of cash, huh? Well, it's not so easy. No. Now, Nukes, as the receiver of the most not-so-easy cards for making the most bad choices in our trips to the center of the zone, you will take on the final judgment of the zone, whereas Drew and I will contribute, given the vast array of bad decisions we made and acquired in our not-so-easy cards, to the ultimate judgment of the good doctor here. So she, by her own accounting now, was just taking people through a simulation. None of this was real, right? And it's her time to clock out at the end of her shift. Just another Monday afternoon at the office. Payday, in fact. But it is not so easy, is it? No. Let us begin our judgment.
So does that mean that the judgment is literally what corporate decides?
Well, now, maybe she unplugs that headset and maybe she's got the wrong of it. Maybe this is a simulation, but it implies something entirely different, right? Maybe she unplugs her headset and it's twice as hellish reality is. Maybe she unplugs her headset and she's like a VR junkie in like some apartment somewhere, malnourished and shit. Just all of this is a dream. Who knows, right?
Dude, we're getting to like super hot VR shit.
Yeah, no, it's pretty hype.
No super hot VR shit.
No, definitely. And I am going to know and on top of that. Nukes, if you would be so kind, we have both determined that she should not get fat stacks of cash, because not as all as it seems. No, and the wish does not happen, and it is even worse than that.
You kind of stand there, like, in the virtual reality that we have established. And you go to log out, but there's a fizzle of the screen. Like, you know when you're in VR and you pull up the Twitch chat or whatever? You go to hit the log out button, and there's a psst, and it's like, but that's not so easy. And you see Ellis's face, and he looks angry. And he goes, "So this was all just a game to you, wasn't it?"
Tried to help you. I tried to help you early on. You refused.
Well, since I am going to be stuck here for an eternity, I will make you also suffer the same fate along with the rest of us.
I was suffering that fate before you got here, bro.
You will no longer be able to return to your reality. You will no longer be able to collect your paycheck, and you will suffer in digital torment with the rest of us.
And
with me as your judge, jury, and executioner.
And I'm going to add that it's worse than that. You see, it turns out that Happy Meanie is actually a denizen of a couple of 100 years in the future, where with somebody with sufficient means and resources can hook themselves up to a VR sub and a nutrient drip, right, that will continue to keep them relatively healthy and whole so that they can spend months on end within the VR. Now, unfortunately, she would spend a couple of weeks and then do a couple of contracts at her work, right, to be able to supplant her VR addiction. But she can't jack out, she can't work, she's going to get fired, and those subscriptions are going to lapse. Meaning that she's going to spend her time in that apartment as her lease gets up, right? She gets evicted and she withers away slowly, becoming more and more frail and disconnected from her physical form as it withers and dies.
Her soul has been ripped from her body and is stuck in this digital hell.
It's digital.
She never had a soul.
With Ellis in charge, because he basically jacked himself into the simulation.
Well, Ellis was probably the AI that was part of the game in the first place, right?
Oh, he is the AI!
I can't fucking add to this. You two done a masterful ending. I'm just amazed. I'm just enjoying this.
Yeah, guys. So, it turns out she got what she desired in a manner of speaking. She got her obsession fulfilled. But not in the way that she wanted at all, because it was all virtual the whole time. She was plugged into a machine. And, like I said, I mean, those bills are going to come due, and nobody's going to check on her because it's an automated, it's the drones come and replenish shit. There's no people involved in that loop. Yeah. So that's been the zone. ladies and gentlemen, if you were hoping perhaps for a cheery resolution to the
Don't get one.
storytelling therein, this is my third trip now, and boy, I haven't seen it. Right? I haven't seen it at all. And that got wacky, right? I mean, everybody was playing a different game there for a while until suddenly we weren't, because the whole thing was just a haywire virtual reality experiment. So it's narratively cohesive. All of the disparate elements were brought together, and it ends on a really macabre horror note that I find just delicious, right? I love the Faustian. All right, I love that Outer Limits kind of Twilight Zone. What a twist at the end thing. And the Zone is just so good at punishing people for their misgivings and at allowing you to create characters just full of fucking misgivings. Wow.
It's so good at allowing you to create a story.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything that you went through, like everything you talked about, it allows anybody to create that. And it's beautiful.
Before we end here, why don't we all go around and recap our character arcs in order of death? Drew, why don't you tell our viewers how you personally experienced the Zone?
Well, me as a player or me as a character?
You as a player, you describing what happened to your character. What was your beginning state, your end state, your journey? What was your hero's journey? I'm going to air quotes that.
Well, beginning to end was kind of a rampant obsession with just experience and seeing literally anything. That's why there were moments like, obsessively drawing the clouds or sticking his hand into the beam of light, because he needed to know what that felt like so he could describe that unique kind of pain.
Mm-hmm.
By his middle point, it was still that, but he was wanting to wax philosophically to Gabriel about, like, well, what do you think it means that I'm the most stable mutation here? Maybe I'm, the fancier fucking shit.
And that's why I tried to put your eyes out with his light thumbs.
Yeah. And meanwhile, by the hospital scene, that was certainly more of like, I don't like hospitals. I would love to see more of this, but oh shit, an opportunity to know more self-inflicted pain. This will make great stories.
A writer suffers for his art.
It was certainly a suffers for his art, as well as like what I didn't really touch upon was one of the main reasons in his why he can't go back was referencing what he's done. And that was also kind of brought up in it wouldn't be the first time I've crushed someone's windpipe, because this character's secret is that he's a serial killer.
Oh, well, that would explain a lot, actually. Yeah, no, that tracks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. No, that's fair. So it started out
really
a serial killer writer,
sense.
and then ended up dying at the blood donation machine on the third level of the Binding of Isaac. There's too many hearts given. But excellent arc. I would say that the good Chaplain Gabriel's arc was a little more instantaneous than I had anticipated. I touched that crystal and the game was like, hey, bro, no, you didn't. All right, and then the crystal turned into a chrysalis for like an extra-dimensional insectoid entity, right? And well, of course, that was God then to Gabriel, right? And then he got, proboscis. I use the ovipositor as a action word a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like ovipositor, it can be a verb if you just work it in there. You got oviposited, right?
Yeah, if you really shove it down a man's throat,
right? Yeah,
it really does work as a verb.
If you work it past the teeth, for sure. But then all of a sudden thought that he was in commune with God. He was clearly infested by this creature that impregnated him and caused all these moths to burst out of his back later. But then there was the light leak that seared most of his face and charred it horribly and caused one of his eyes to boil to the point of bursting open like a rotted grape or something. Then he lost his other eye, and then you ripped off his jaw. He got completely degloved by some of the crystalline fractal Pomeranian entities that came at him with Clive Barker chain hooks for... I mean, at that point, I think...
don't know why I love it so much. I love it so much.
The code was just so fucked up at that point. It was like,
Oh yeah.
somebody divided by 0, whoops, that's not gonna, and
You got an answer, folks.
he was there
You can
for it,
divide by 0.
right? I think it was very poetic that in the end that, like, the corpses with all those people made him realize that, like, this wasn't the work of a god, and he turned around all mournfully to be able to try and express something, but was already so far taken by the zone that it just came out as that crude gurgling. Like, I liked that character ending a lot, right? The melancholy, right? The ennui, right? The sadness that he was carrying, but still, the comedic ineffective death. I'm a big fan of comedic ineffective death.
The
Nukes.
horror of realization.
Mm-hmm.
Revelation, if you will.
There you, ooh, full circle.
Well, with Ellis, something that I didn't really get to mention was that the murder of his co-host was zone-induced psychosis from him trying to cover stories of it while outside the zone.
Was I the only non-murderer? Just show of hands. Who had murdered somebody as a character before coming to the zone? Now, okay. Just on the murder hobo tip, it's 75% murder hobo. My God,
this is a good game for murder hobo, though.
It is a good game for murder hobo, for sure. But yeah, continue. Yes, I didn't realize you were also a murderer until just now. Yeah.
One time, I'm not like the man below me.
Right.
I had to...
Hey.
It's you, Drew. It's you.
But basically with Ellis was that he was kind of like those Instagram vloggers, but more of in a radio host way. Like, he was obsessed with, like, telling the world or anyone that would listen about the zone, like him talking about it, him describing things. And part of it was also he just liked the sound of his own voice. Hence why his phobia was losing his voice.
Like, the way you played him and all of that reminded me so much of Black Mirror, like, in a good way. Because there are bad Black Mirror episodes, but the way you played him and the way you set the scenes, like, took me to the good ones, which there's probably only 3 really fucked up ones that I'm like, that's an amazing show, and you took me there.
You
totally took me there. Your
character journey was great. Yeah.
That.
Starting with the mutation and the antennas, and then eventually devolving into static, and then you started, like, glitching, and then you're, no clipping. Yeah, it was a fantastic journey, mutation-wise.
Though I must say, and I mean this in the best way possible, both in character and out of character, there were so many moments where I found Ellis just, like, absolutely insufferable. Like, no one cares about your vlog, Ellis. And I do mean that in the best way possible. Purely because it really drove it home just how obsessive he was.
Well, and, like, again, that's another thing that I love about the zone. I didn't find any of us to be especially compelling as protagonists. Or I wouldn't have followed an extended journey with any of these douchebags. They were all terrible people. 3 of them apparently murder hobos, like, literally. I was unaware, But the zone lets you do that.
For it.
Yeah.
Turns out at the end, I was the AI that kind of kept the simulation running, and as I was glitching, everything else was beginning to glitch.
So the question is, were me and Drew, were we just in pods in a research institute somewhere? Were we programs? I mean, who knows?
We were NPCs.
Yeah, we were NPCs in the whole thing. Like, literally, yeah, we never existed at all. Certainly explains how I could wander around as a meat skeleton.
You had too many lines for an NPC. Too many lines.
That's true. It's true. But, I mean, it would certainly explain the trauma we were both capable of enduring. Yeah.
No, I feel like Cohen was like a party member NPC. Meanwhile, Gabriel was like this weird demonic Navi from Ocarina of Time.
Gabriel was a really cool character.
Your soul will be devoured.
Really, really cool character.
Gabriel was awesome.
I don't normally play the religious people, so I went outside my wheelhouse, but I'm excited to play the zone again. If you guys are excited to play The Zone with us. But you could join our
course.
Discord. We got pickup games going on. I am excited to
Awesome.
practice it more and more. I love this experience. I think it's such a journey. And participating with it with different storytellers, you can really get... I mean, every single time has been dramatically different so far. The process starts out really dissonant and wacky, and then focuses itself down every time, narrower and narrower, as people are picked off to like a central theme that is just... It's so delightful. We didn't roll a single die. We used one card mechanic to determine yes, no. I mean, it is brilliant. Try it for yourself. I'm going to put the link back in the chat for free. And check out the rest of his Play to Lose narrative games, because all the stuff that Raph D'Amico does at Laughing Kaiju
brilliant.
looks badass. And this is free
Brilliant.
to play.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
I'm so glad that I found this game by complete accident. Someone retweeted something on Twitter, and I was like, you know what? I'll show up for the launch day. And I fell in love with it.
It is fun. Like I said, I have only been playing it since Wednesday, and it has entered my rotation. It's going to be on my channel for the foreseeable future. It'll probably outlive voice acting from Wildermyth. I love it. I'm also excited to see the directions it takes in the future. I mean, he's talking about expansions with different themes, putting it in a different settings. He's talking about all kinds of magnificent stuff with the customization elements. And it is already so solid. You owe it to yourself to check it out. And again, he's asking $0 for it. It's phenomenal. I plan on backing whatever physical endeavor it gets into when it does. And because it's a great experience, as you guys saw. But that is it.
I'll
from
match
us.
Will's backing.
Oh,
Officially.
boom. There we
On
go.
video,
That is
on stream. I
official
will match
backing.
Will's backing. I'll match it.
I'm all in for whatever it looks like on Kickstarter. If you're still here,
Match
Raph. I mean, it is phenomenal. It is just inspired. It's fucking inspired. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah,
I
feel
genuinely
bad
love it.
for playing this for free.
Literally,
it kind of hurts
Should
my
be a
soul
donate
to be like,
at the end.
I got to just do this. Like, and it's such a beautiful thing in this day and age to just get to do something so beautifully fun, and
it really
I
is.
want to help because it's brilliant.
It's a fantastic experience. That's just a hoot. And I told him, honestly, in his own Discord, I was like, man, if you added a donation button, I would literally hit it. And he said, no, I'm not into it. I want to share it when the Kickstarter comes. You can help me out there. Hell yeah, man. I mean, just play it, guys. Play it. Come to the Discord and play it.
We'll be there with our communities. We're gonna bring all our friends. We're gonna bring all our nerds back from like childhood when we used to play games. And hey, guys, like
it's a hell of a party game.
There's a game to come play.
There's a
game to come play, like a game you've never played. And I think all of us here and most of us watching game as a hobby. That doesn't mean digitally or tabletop or whatever it is. We all game as a hobby, so we can bring along all of our friends. Even if you haven't seen them in 20 years, decades, whatever, you're going to find a place here that is going to be so much fun.
You could turn this into a drinking game. I mean, you could turn... There's
take a shot every time you pull a not-so-easy card.
No, we're not trying to kill people.
Right. Well, but here's the thing. The Zone, but everyone plays it while they're high as fuck. Now, I wouldn't take part in that because I'm boring, but I would love to see just an entire table of 4 people where everyone is stoned out of their minds.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
People playing it in whatever their environment is. So, like, that's a group of stoners, or like it's incredibly flexible, and that's
it is. I think like
to me to be able to make something that can result in so much of a deep story.
The Zone could
in
be
a matter of hours, and it's just like it's quick. It's modular. I hate that word, but
it's quick.
Like you can
it's
just
modular.
like.
It could be beautiful. It doesn't have to be even macabre. Even it could be a story of
macabre. Everyone's gonna die.
Yeah, well, it could be a story of redemption or forgiveness. There are so many ways that the Zone could express itself. It leans certainly body horror, mutation, all of that, but there are ways in which I mean, it could be a very beautiful story at the same time. It's just, I can't wait to play it more.
It's a beautiful product. At the end of the
Like-
day, like you can tell a lot of blood, sweat, and tears have gone into this, and it's.
And we're not being
amazing.
sponsored here.
And
This is
I'd like
our
to
genuine
challenge
thoughts.
us in 2
This
weeks.
is just like, looking at this game and just full on.
Right,
know.
like I literally, there's no incentive for me to say, any of us to say anything of this. It's amazing.
We're just fucking around
Nukes.
after a session.
Like,
Yes.
like an idea for a PG-13 zone game would literally be like, hey, this is a bunch of kids playing zombie in the neighborhood, and everyone getting picked off as them going home.
I mean, there are so
Weirdly
many ways
enough,
you
yes.
could play this. Yeah. But that's going to be it for us because we are running long and people have to work in the morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific for our Dungeons & Dragons 5e live theater live stream, Rod of Seven Realms. And then next Tuesday, of course, when we come back with Wildermyth voiceover. And the Tuesday after that, we're going to be back in the zone. But from the League of Racantor Explorers to yourself, may your dice always roll hot and per fabulum veritas. Have a great evening, everybody.